Ugh. Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to a very off-the-cuff stream because I've been having some issues. I've been having some weird-ass issues lately. When it has come to just streaming in general. So the setup's very unorthodox. I'm streaming in my editing area. This is where I edit all the. You guys don't care, but I'm just saying. This is where I edit all the videos at, which isn't set up properly for everything. So essentially, what happened was the computer that I got is apparently, which I spent money on, a lot of money on. For some reason, I don't know if this is probably an issue with both the processor and the motherboard, because I've just about troubleshooted everything. If you're trying to get real deep into nerdy tech shit, it's most likely the Ethernet adapter. There's a problem with that, because as you can see here, we're streaming just fine, 1080p, good quality type shit. And meanwhile over there, I'm unable to get a stable connection, both connected to Ethernet just properly, both connected to the same ISP. And for some reason, this computer, no problem, streaming high quality, good enough, you know. But the other one is just like, no, the upload is just not, you're getting like 19 kilobits per second type shit. It drips. It seems like there's an issue with most likely probably packet loss, probably, maybe, because okay, all right, that's that notification, just making sure. But I'm getting into nerdy shit that doesn't really need to be gotten into. But tonight we just vibing, because recently I've been getting way too into, hold on, let me bring up everything. Lately I've been getting way into Persona in general, as well as I've been getting way into like interested in the Shin Megami Tensei series, because for those of you guys that don't know, a little bit fun fact for me, I'm not the hugest gamer, wasn't the hugest gamer to like circa 2017, and there's a reason for that relating to Persona. But yeah, circa 2017 is when I got back into gaming, because from the early 2000s, when I was like 5 or 6 years old, I played a game called Kingdom Hearts. I was probably like 7 around the time, 7. It was like around like 2003 or something. Played it. It enthralled me. I was like completely 100% invested in all that type of shit or whatever, because that's when I was cognitively into video games. I played games like Mario or whatever, but I didn't understand what was going on. But Kingdom Hearts drew me in. This was around 2003. And then as time went on, I played Pokemon, and the Pokemon game I played 100% multiple times. Caught all the mons, was Pokemon Emerald for the Game Boy Advance, specifically the Game Boy Advance SP. And so I got really into that, and that's when I was just like, yo, I like this. I like the gameplay mechanics and everything. Pokemon is easy to pick up and go, all that stuff. So transitioned into high school, which was around 2009. I keep saying I want to say 20 whatever, because we've been in this decade for 10 years. 2009, high school, not really cool to play video games. And mind you, 2009/2008, I want to say like 12, 13, 14, when like people were like, oh, it's not cool to play video games, because in the early odds it wasn't cool to play video games. You were still considered a nerd or a child that plays video games. Like, you're okay to play video games as a small child, but as you approach your teenage years, they're like, yo, why are you still playing this shit? Why are you still having fun? You're not supposed to have fun. Whatever. Transition to 2008, 9 or whatever. a bunch of video games were popping off. Beginning cycle of Assassin's Creed, Bioshock, Mass Effect, all those games are coming out around the time where I'm supposed to probably be into those games. Didn't play any of them, didn't play any of the games, and around this time, to a lesser extent, Persona was popping off into its niche audience, and Final Fantasy and stuff like that. All these games that would, like, theoretically I would be into, didn't really play because, like, I didn't think to play any of them. I was just like not really into that stuff. Sports, football, basketball, mainstream shit. I was also really into art at the time, like that, like a snobby art student, as well as, like, I was going through an emo phase where I was into mostly music and stuff like that. But time kept going. I became more interested in looking at video games, but, like, all my friend group, the only video game that they played as I was entering college was League of Legends, and that wasn't really my shit. Might take a look at it eventually, but, like, League of Legends really wasn't my thing. And then fast forward to 2017, just got out of college, and I needed something to do in my life. I left all of my friends behind because I transitioned into from college that was in a different state to back home, didn't have any friends or whatever, focus on career path goals and stuff like that. Couldn't get a job in my field because everyday millennial Gen Z problem type stuff. And then Persona 5 trailer came out, and I was like, okay, this looks pretty cool. This looks dope. Internet talking about it, blowing up on the internet. Then what really got me into it was a content creator that has passed away, sadly, Etika. He played Persona 5 on stream, and at the time I was a Etika watcher, viewer, and he made that shit look really hype. And I was like, okay, is this another content creator hyping shit up if it's not really that hype? Bought it myself out of my hard-earned money on the PlayStation 4. And I actually bought a PlayStation 4 and that game because I was like, fuck it, I'm depressed and ain't got no life, ain't got no friends, so we about to play this. So I played Persona 5, and that was a wrap. Mind you, I didn't even beat Persona 5. I only got halfway. Like, from what people told me, I was like 30% through with the story. If we're talking about Persona Royal standards. But yeah, I only got 30% through the game because then, you know, adulting, working, and all that stuff. And then I was like, yo, this shit's actually really dope. This is because it itched a scratch it itched a scratch that hasn't been itched in a long time, which was my Pokemon craze or something of that. Because it felt like Pokemon, it was easy enough to pick up, but it added a whole bunch of, like, micromanage and sim type games, because I loved the Sims, and I loved, like, management games where you got to allocate your time in certain places. And I felt like Persona weirdly itched a whole bunch of scratched a whole bunch of itches that I really had when it comes to video games. And yeah, and then they got me back into video games. I started, like, thinking about doing a YouTube channel. I should have done it around 2017. Then I probably could have had some legs or whatever with this content. But yeah, it just got me interested in a whole lot of other things related to Persona 5. So yeah. And then now fast forward, I tried playing Persona 3. Tried to play FES, didn't really grab me. Tried to play Portable, definitely didn't grab me. And I think it's the overall quality of life that Persona 5 has, as well as the updated graphics and style, as well as had me as well. It was a little bit of a regression when you're going back to Persona 3. Persona 4 was a little bit more manageable for me. just solely on the fact that it's a murder mystery and I'm into that. So yeah. So we are going to be going back into Persona 3 with Reload Edition. And yeah, we're probably going to be live streaming it. That's why I'm trying to test everything out, because yeah, if we're not live streaming it, then we are I'm going to cover it in some form of capacity, because that's what I want to do for y'all. That's what I want to do. And Shin Megami Tensei, Persona, all that stuff in general just got me really interested. So with that being said, I gotta bring up my you guys just love the bots, right? The Twitch bots. You don't, but still. I'm trying to like figure out like lag and everything, because we're, oh fuck, what the hell is that game? This is a mature rated game. Yeah, that's fine. Oh. But hey, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. If you guys are live, hey, what's going on? Close that, please. Yes, close. We are going to be reacting to the Persona 3 music. The music for Persona 3 Reload, because my introduction to the music is solely through, and I mean solely through, Persona 5 when you change the costumes. So with that being said, let us get into it. And of course, an edited version of this will be uploaded. I think we'll try to go ahead and do that. Yeah, setting up everything over here is a nightmare because I didn't plan on streaming here. Okay. But hey, what's going on? Welcome. Welcome. We're going to just jump right into it. I don't want to keep y'all in suspense. All right. So we're going to pull up all these OSTs real quick. And I'm assuming these are all official. You guys can correct me in the chat if that is not the case. I'm going to turn this up to its maximum. And okay, this is called Full Moon, Full Life. This is the opening. I heard this. Yo, this is actually pretty good. Like, I'm now just listening to it. This sounds closer to Persona 4 music. Okay. The rap kind of I'm not gonna lie, you people are gonna get mad at me. The rap kind of ruins the vibe just a little bit, just a little itty bitty bit, because it's just like, it's kind of because the flow just doesn't really match this. But like the singing and the vocals and all that shit, that's good. It's just when the rapping comes in, yeah, time to go, yeah. It's just like the beat just doesn't match. It just doesn't match what's going on. But I'm still willing to give that a good score. That's good. Potentially. Okay, this is the one I'm used to, because when you change the costumes in Persona 5, the music changes to this. Oh, they ripped this shit. Bro, stop clowning Lotus Juice. I am not. I'm just saying sometimes it just doesn't fit, and it's just like this fits. This is good. Like, this is good. It like it intermixes well. Like, I don't understand a word this dude is saying, but this is me grinding out Kamoshido's palace in this uniform because I like the uniform for Persona 3. I like the way they look on the characters or whatever, because when you change the characters, and you guys know, if you're watching this, you know what the hell I'm talking about. But yeah, and I was just like, yo, what is this song? I don't like the fact that they ripped it straight from the trailer, but it's fine because you're hearing all sorts of sound effects. We're about to just go to. Okay, this is called Mass Destruction. Okay, this goes good. That's what I'm saying, just with that intro, because the intro just didn't match with the rapping. Okay, I fuck with this one a lot. It reminds me of early odds rap, like early odds like type rap that I would hear on the radio, which again is fitting because this came out like in 2006. Okay. Yo, this song goes hard. This might make is this on iPod? Is it? I said iPod. Damn, I really transported back to 2006. Yo, what up, TJ? This playlist is filled with badly ripped OSTs. This is badly ripped, and I'm still enjoying the song, even though I can clearly hear like shit in the background. It's fine. It's the intent that matters. If there is a better version of It's Going Down Now, let me know in right now, but I'm just saying it sounds good. This is the cleanest version. You think there is? All right. I think you can post a link. Post a link if you can, or I'll just look it up in just a second. Once I'm done, like, listening to these. Yeah, I can hear people selecting menu music. Oh, just selecting through the menu. Let me see. Just tell me, well, I'll just search it. What was it called? It's Going Down. I'll just search it and you can tell me if it's the right one. Oh. I gotta turn off those alerts. Hold on. There's too many going on. I need to disable them. Okay, I want to look up and see if there's a cleaner version of that one as well, because that was... Okay, this one. Yeah, I used this one in one of the videos that I uploaded. Oh, they have it in the playlist. Never mind. It's in the playlist. It's fine. Yo, this is so good. Yo, this music is just giving me, the music is giving like nostalgia for a past I never had for some reason. I don't know if it's because it's like triggering something that, a type of music that I listened to in like my childhood or something. This new singer kills it in the new songs, but I feel like I still need to be used to her version of the old ones. Yo, this music is so, yo, literally I would put this on my phone right now. Let me see. There's no way they have it available over on Apple Music. I'm just saying. Yo, no, I just thought of what this sounds like. Jet Set. This sounds like Jet Set Radio music. That's what I'm thinking of. This sounds like Jet Set Radio type music. Okay, now I know why. Now this Persona 3 sounds like Jet Set Radio music. That's why I fuck with this so hard. All right, this one I know the older version because I use this sometimes in my videos. No, they ruined it, bro. They ruined it. Okay, so I used the old Iwatodai one because there's a playlist that I frequent that has like video game OST music for, because it doesn't get dinged by copyright, and I used it. And I fell in love with this song, not even fucking playing this game. And I love the old, okay, we're going, hold on. It's because his vocals are too clear. I don't want to understand what he's saying because it sounds lame when you hear it. Hold on. Iwatodai Dorm. Okay. Okay, then listen to the difference. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, because when you're rapping it, because like they probably sampled an actual person who speaks English, so it sounds a lot. Come on, girl, let me rock your world. Like, yo, that sounded, because it sounded chopped and screwed. It sounded like how samples sounded like normal rap, but like this one just sounds like. I'm sleep, bro. This was the one thing that I knew about Persona 3 music. This was the one thing, and I was just like, yo, they ruined it. Well, I'm gonna be playing this on PC. Hopefully there is a mod. Hopefully there is a mod to change it to the old one, because that is the first time I am dissatisfied with how the new one sounded. It's fine though. We're gonna go to Mass Destruction, the clean version. Okay, that hits. That hits. I'm trying to decide, do I like this OST better than Royal or just Persona 5 in general? Huh. What do y'all think? If y'all in chat, let me know. Twitch, YouTube, Kick. I can see all y'all. Let me know which one is better, Persona 3 or 5. Because Persona 4 is It's good, don't get me wrong, but it's no Persona 5. And then, but 3 is hitting a weird part of my nostalgia brain where it's just like, this is kind of what I was into when I was a little child back in 06, when I was a little 12-year-old boy. But yeah, we're about to get the clean version of It's Going Down. Yo, It's Going Down is kind of a favorite for me. Can't speak for P3R, but I really love the old soundtrack the most. As far as like just the Iwatodai Dorm, that's the one that I prefer, the old one, but yo, It's Going Down is kind of solid. It's very solid for me. Persona 4 has some bangers too. All right, I'm going to swing it back around to Persona 4. By the way, before we do that, I have to pimp something out real quick. So please hold on for just 1 second while I do that. So yeah, I'm going to take a listen to some Persona 5 music. Or Persona 4 music, my bad. Give me 1 second. Okay, let me go over. No. Here we go. All right, so before we continue to listen to some more music, be sure to go ahead and go to full wrong one. Awesome, fantastic. There we go. Head over down to the VOD channel. This is where you can catch the complete entire playthroughs of Persona 4 Golden, because it's highlighted on this channel. But if you guys like to listen to stuff in like podcast form, you just like to have it on in the background, check it out here. The playlist is right here. We have Shenmue that's already completed, Final Fantasy 16, Danganronpa, and we also have Spider-Man Master Detective Archives Rain Code. And hey, what's going on, Heroic Gangster? Yeah, 4 more days. I'm going to be doing it on Friday. So if you guys, it should give you all enough time to get a decent way through it. So you guys can check out my stream if you want to. But yeah, we're going to be playing it live over on Friday. So be sure to go ahead and check it out. But let's get back to Color Your Night. Also, be sure to join the Discord if you guys want to talk with other people that like Persona, anime in general, JRPGs. Check it out. I'm trying to get to know more y'all, because y'all seem like a cool crowd to want to talk about Persona with. Yeah, I'm sorry. Persona 3 music just hits different. Yo, okay. Yo, this actually, okay. I might be betraying Persona 5, but Persona 3, it's a different vibe for me. I'm sorry. It hits differently. Love Lotus Juice putting his singing Riz in a Persona game for once. You only see singing in the original, in his original songs outside of Persona. Like, this song adds two elements. It adds like elements that Persona 5 music had, which was vibe. 100% vibe, and then like I'm gonna fucking rap right now. We rapping right now. Yeah, this guy got me excited for this game because for a while I was just excited for, well, Persona 6 eventually, and also that other game Atlas is putting out, what was it, Fantasio Re-Metaphor, whatever the fuck. Okay, that happened. But yeah, but now I'm excited for Persona 3 Reload, because at first I wasn't really excited because I was just like, it's a remake. But even though it was a game I haven't played before, it's just like, okay. Another OST that has deep breath in it. Take a deep breath, or deep breath. That's what it sounds when she takes a deep breath. Yeah. Hope they managed to put Reincarnation version, such a positive vibe song. I'll listen to that. It's called Reincarnation version of Deep Breath. Let me take a look at that. Hey, what's up? Just stopping by. I hope to find some lucky pals. Need some luck too. Have a good stream. Thank you for the good wishes. Over there on Kick, you have a good stream too. Zootant. What's going on? Let me lower this a little bit. You said it was called Reincarnation. Persona 3 Reincarnation Deep Breath. I know this is from the old Persona 3, but okay, hold on. Okay.
and touch the sky. On a sunny morning, I touch the sky. Next morning, I touch your heart. What's the start? I play my role when I rip the mic apart. Do what I got to do to place a spark. I'ma put it down, seeking no crown anymore. From the moment I saw you, it's all gone. Hard to believe to a pimp like me. Used to have every woman every day.
What is this? What is it? It sounds like they sampled, which I don't think they sampled it because it would cost a lot of money to do. Boom, 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 boom. I'm trying to think. What is that song? Fuck, it's a popular song from like the. Oh, it's okay. I'll think of it eventually.
Said I'm sorry, I got to go from the side. Line to the man, I aim high to the place no human has ever even tried. So I got to go, I got to go. All I want is for you to stay. Man out of grave resurrected, now he's connected. No concession, just embedded by you. Yeah, take a deep breath. Here we go, follow my lead. No doubt about that. It's a happy day. I gotta tell you one thing. Take a deep breath, deep breath, deep breath, deep breath.
What does it sound like they're sampling? Fuck the boom 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 boom. Oh, this is going to eat away at me. All right, because I promised, because we need to take a look, we need to properly compare. I currently, as I mentioned before, if you haven't already, check out Lumen is Alive. This is where all the stream VODs go fully in its entirety. So if you want to have something to listen to in podcast format, check it out. We got all of Danganronpa there, all of Final Fantasy 16, all of Persona 4, or we're currently uploading Persona 4 Golden. So yeah. Hey, what's going on, Jader? Over on Twitch, what's going on? We're just looking at some Persona related content. And speaking of official remixes, Lotus Juice remix of Deep Mentality is Peak. If you never listened to it, I'll go ahead and take a listen to that. Actually, I'll take a listen to that right now. What is it called? What's going on, Gicomo? Welcome to the stream. You should check out the lyrics for Persona 3 Reload OP. There's a video for it somewhere. All right. First, Lotus Juice remix of Deep Mentality. Deep Mentality Persona 3 Lotus Juice remix. All right. Conveniently right here. All right. Okay. I will go ahead and take a look at that too. Oh, this is from Persona Dancing Moon Knight. If there is no spoilers, I wouldn't mind taking a look at this game just to like play on a stream casually. Just as like a way to vibe and talk to you guys. Okay. All right. Dang, there's a lot of music. I'm not tapped in at all. Just that these characters exist kind of spoilers. All right, I might take a look at it. All right, I can see. Yo, I can actually see myself it's circa 2006. You're in the club, you're dancing hard and heavy to this shit. You're sweating out your Jinko jeans. You can't get enough. Whoa, and the breakdown. Okay, I feel you. Yeah, I pretty much know the characters from looking the I know these characters exist, by the way, so. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. No, this goes hard. I might have to take a look at these dancing games if they want to remix these songs like this. I'm going to suck because I'm terrible, notoriously terrible at dancing games. Lowe's Juice grew up in New York City, so I think his English is better than most Persona singers. I think the lady who does the singing for Persona 5 English is passable. When you're singing, English gets like singing is kind of hard to notice if your English is bad because it's all pitch based and like if you're going for a specific sound. Okay, all right, good recommendation from who recommended that? If I'm pronouncing that right, thank you for the recommendation. That was fire. That's actually whoever uploaded this, you get it a like just because it's good. And for some reason that happened. What was the next one? Kimi no Kiku. It just dropped. Okay. I might have to do this as a solo video when I upload this. Reload. Memories of You. Is this a clean rip? Which one is the... Okay, I need to know which one is the good one. Which one is the one that I should be... The third one, okay. Because people will post anything on here. Okay. And after this, we're going to do one more Persona 3 thing. I was told to take a look at the Strega trailer. I kind of was iffy on doing that because I don't want to see too much of the story, but from what I was told by a friend, it doesn't show a lot. It just shows some characters. So I'm going to take a look at that after this. This song is giving mid 2000s anime ending, if you know what I'm talking about. This sounds like a potential Bleach ending for some reason. yeah, I don't know how they do it, but Persona Company in general just makes bangers. And that's as far as Persona. I'm not even sure if like they do the same for Shin Megami Tensei, or it's only Persona that gets top tier music. SMT slaps too. Okay, and what's going on in Placeable Arc? Well, we're going to be playing through Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, the HD remaster, on live stream. So check it out if you can. But I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that Persona just didn't get the full music treatment. Yo, this is very long. This is very long. What, I wonder what is this? Because usually when an OST is this long, that generally means that like it's background music that plays in the background and it loops. But this goes too hard to just be background music, you guys. You're not telling me that this is background music. What? Okay, tell me in the chat. Contextually, when does this music play? Because you know Persona 5 has music that plays when we're having a serious conversation or a sad moment, you know, kind of like the Naruto sadness music. Ooh. If you're reacting to music, either Persona 3, I'd recommend SMT 4 Black Market theme. I'll take a look. The credits. Okay, saddest moment. Don't spoil anything about the game, but saddest moment in the game. Okay, that's the ending thing. Well, I mean, it's sad because the game is ending, but no more. But yeah. All right. I thought this was going to be. I thought that was just like the song that played throughout the thing. Okay. I could have sworn there was one more someone told me to look at. And there's something wrong with my monitor because it keeps flicking out, and I don't know why. These characters. Okay, I got that one. Pachinko music. Okay, that's the one I saw first. And then Arc, we're going to get into the Black Market theme after that. That one came first. So Persona 3 Pachin. Why do they have a pachinko machine, and why does the songs for that even goes hard? Okay, you're gonna have to tell me which one's the official one. What the hell is that? Oh, that's why did this come up, bro? Oh, okay. It's a Persona 3 meme, so we gotta. Why? What? He used Abaddon, bro. Yo, and he's wood too. That's super effective. Why? Y'all Persona fans have no chill. Why are you guys doing this? Average OGP3 experience. Yeah, there's just going to be a Kate Sith just there with Abaddon for no reason. Okay, all right, first one. Did you want to check out the lyric video? I'll check that out after this one, and then we'll go to. Yo. I would be gambling all my money away. I would be, my children wouldn't see me for days. I would be in here just jamming to this music. Oh, you want more of my money? Sure. I'm losing, but I'm having a good time. Pachinko machine exclusive songs. Also, funny enough, Persona 4 has a pachinko machine that has exclusive animation assets that aren't featured in the anime. Of course. Okay. All right, I'm getting too into it. I'm about to spend my money. I'm about to spend my money on this guy, on this pachinko machine. So first, I am going to go ahead and we'll do the black market theme, and then SMT, and then we're going to look at the lyrics for it, for the opening. Which one was it? Persona 4 black market. All right, I'm actually excited because people said Persona or Shin Megami Tensei 4 is like the best. So let me hear what y'all talking about. Hey, what is this fucking vaporwave ass shit? There's no way. Put your sunglasses on, pull down the top on the convertible. Yo, this is okay. All right. Who recommended this? Who recommended this? This is the best. This is Implacable Arc. This is muy delicioso. Atlas is the reason why I expect the high budget production to have a banger soundtrack. Let me go to, okay, Persona 3 Reload opening lyrics. I'm actually interested because I need to know what the fuck they're saying. All right. I'm assuming. Okay, I'm going to assume it's this one. We're about to see what they're saying. Mm-hmm. But I do believe things come to life by accident. When it remains on, sounds like it's meant to be. All right. Okay. I'm looking carefully at the lyrics to see if it's supposed to mean something. burn your dread. She says it right this time, or the person who's singing this says it right. I swear to God, the lady who was doing it before said burn my bread. Like no cap, like no mistranslation. She literally said bread. Okay. All right. Before we transition into looking at some Persona 4 music, Persona 3 Reload Saga trailer, I think you know. The Persona 3 song makes me want to live. That's good to hear. Yeah, and half of the song it sounds like a B. All right. I think it's Conflicting Fates is the one I'm looking for.
They took down that shadow during the last full moon like it was nothing.
I have no intention of relinquishing my abilities. And
oh yeah, one thing I kind of want to talk about, because I know for a fact, because I played Persona Ultimax or what have you. The voice actor for the white-haired guy changed, and it would change from a voice actor that I really liked. I'm not sure if they just couldn't get them, or if they didn't have the time, or if, I don't know what happened to Liam O'Brien or whatever, but it kind of sucks because he kind of has an iconic voice. Liam O'Brien did a lot of characters that I fuck with. One of the characters being Gaara from the Naruto series. It sucks that he's not the white-haired guy's voice actor, but it is what it is.
Living an empty life. Well, Jin, are they our enemy?
Oh, I'm sorry? Jesus?
There's a new threat. Persona users just like us.
They call themselves Strega.
Okay. Strega?
Somebody's got a grudge against you, and they asked us to get revenge. No!
Yo.
Get away from me! You
Okay.
guys don't have the slightest clue what'll happen if the Dark Hour disappears, do you?
What do you mean?
Do you really want to lose your abilities?
Jesus, I think Jesus just shot that guy. Like, what the fuck?
Is your mission worth your life?
I just talk a big game, pretending like I'm some kind of hero. That's about all I've got going for me. Without this power, I'd be a nobody.
Takaya?
Okay.
To all customers, please do not move in the opposite direction of the escalators.
What?
I'm gonna make pancakes.
It's pancake party time, as they say.
We don't have much
Oh
time.
no.
If the Dark
Is that a Persona 5 reference, bro? Did they put a Persona 5 reference in there? Or was that scene initially in there? Because, like, I don't know. That was too on the nose, bro. There's too... The pancake meme exists is too strong, bro. And I still don't understand why it's so strong.
Hour
Okay.
disappears, we might forget everything that happened, won't we? I'd forget you and Chidori, things we did together, all of it. To me, that's a fate worse than
So in this game, you're fighting other Persona users? That's actually dope.
I've had a reason to interfere.
I guess I was wrong. For the first time in my life, I realized what I wanted.
some things you only pick up stepping off the straight and narrow.
Fate shall decide which of us will remain.
What the hell?
Velvet, oh velvet, my master has a long nose.
Okay.
All together now.
All right.
Velvet, oh velvet, my master has a long nose.
I give it a 6 out of 10. She didn't end the rhyme properly, but yo, that trailer looks interesting. You're fighting other Persona users. That's awesome. And there's Jesus in there. He has a gun and he's shirtless. That's actually kind of hot. Only the real Persona fans know the master has a long nose. Is she talking about Igor? She's dressed like one of those Velvet Room people. We're switching over to Persona 4. Music, that is. I always have to remind, if you guys just like listening to Let's Plays and stuff like that in the background, and don't care for the highlighted crap, I have Persona 4 Golden. We're all the way, we're finished with Yukiko over here. Uploaded full length in its entirety. Check it out over here if you just want to have something in the background. You want to listen to me struggle through Persona 4 for the first time. Check me out over there. Lumen is alive. Go there right now. We have Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc. We have Master Detective Raincoat, all of Spider-Man 2. It's a vibe. We vibe over there. And also Persona 5 highlights are going to be uploaded relatively soon, as well as the full versions of the Persona 3 Reload stuff. Rhyming knows amateur stuff, really. Like, yeah. I mean, she's trying her best. It's fine. Let her have it. All right, Persona 4 OST. Golden OST. After listening to Persona 3, I think, unfortunately, Persona 4 is sandwiched between two good OSTs, in my humble opinion. But I'm going to go through it, and we're going to decide which OST is better. And we got people in here. What's going on? Welcome to the stream. If you have any Persona or SMT content you want me to take a look at it, now would be the time. Tune in on Monday, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to be playing Nocturne. Okay. I literally just said that. I literally just said Persona 3 and Persona 5 had the best music. And then they start off with this. A true general, this is a bop. Yeah, I am. Hopefully the plan is to be doing this on stream, and I'm doing it on Friday. I know it comes out on Thursday technically. So for those of you guys that want to play the game for yourself, and do it first and then come and view my stream, you can. We're going to be doing it on Friday. With or without you. Okay, this song goes hard. I literally just shitted on Persona 4's music for a second, and I was like, no, this goes hard. Fun fact, made the song my ringtone because I liked it so much. Then I grew to dislike it because of that. Ringtones, personalized ringtones are a mistake in general. We think of it at the time, and then like 5 calls in, you're just like, I'll just stick with the base stock ringtone. Like, that's why they got rid of them. That's why there's no more custom ringtones, because you get tired of that shit too fast. All right, let's go on A Corner of Memory. Yep, this is Someday Persona 4 will be milked again. I'm probably going to be like close to my 40s by the time they do that, which is fine. Persona 4, Persona, I'm 40. No, that's like 12 years from now. I'll say like 5 years, they'll probably. After Persona 6, after they release Persona 6, they need a new buffer game. Persona 4 is going to be that buffer game, so I'm saying it here right now. Persona 4 remaster is going to be the next game in between Persona 6. Okay, let me actually get to not just like entering the Velvet Room type music. I'll put it this way. Persona 4 is, I'm just trying to vibe. It's straight up vibe music. It's just like, you're at home, it's a Saturday afternoon, nothing to do. I'm just going to sit around and listen to this music. Because I feel like this music gets you like, it puts you in a good mood. Persona 5 music, it makes you want to go to sleep. It makes you want to sip a cup of coffee and just lay down. Life is temporary for mortals. Persona 4 discourse is eternal. I'm still just trying to see how many more Persona 5 spin-offs they're going to do. All right, so I specifically just ignored any of the, oh wow, you get to see all up in my face. But I personally ignored the spin-offs. Because the reason why I ignored the spin-offs specifically for Persona 5 is because I just didn't think there was like a seal of quality to them. But from what I've been hearing, people have been saying that the quality is there. I bet they'll do a fighting game eventually. I mean, yeah, maybe. I think they're done with Persona, because I think what's happening now is like, okay, so for Atlus, a good chunk of their development is, as of right now, is going into Metaphor, ReFantazio, is what I think. So, and what I personally think is that Persona 3 Reload, they got Fantazio, the next one has to be Persona 6. It has to be. Or they might do another spinoff because I'm not sure, but like, even though I haven't played any of the spinoffs, I kind of just want them to like go to the next one because I want to see the new vibe. I want to see what the new vibe is. Persona 5 spinoff games are good. All the spinoff games are good. They just will never match the main line. It's because like, yeah, the aspect that I enjoy of Persona specifically is the social links, the confidant stuff. Another thing that I also enjoy is like the high intense JRPG elements and stuff like that. And to my knowledge, I don't think any of the other games have that, so that sucks. I don't know enough about Persona 1 and 2 to say that like, hey, why don't they do a remake of those? But yeah, I don't know. Like I need a Persona 6 for them. I'm sorry. Persona Q2 and Tactica are sleeper hits no matter how many YouTubers dunk on it. I mean, I've never played any of them, so all I know is that they have like a cutesy chibi aesthetic, and I can see how some people aren't going to like that. Persona Super Live 2015 be cool. All right, I will check that out. You said Super Live 2015. Why is there one every year? What is this? I'm assuming the first one should be good. I'll switch it over to. Their live concerts.
Persona Super Live 2015.
Yo, look at all these people here for a concert, bro. About video game music.
Persona Super Live 2015.
I mean, I'm stupid. There's a Final Fantasy concert. I don't know why I'm just like thinking Persona wouldn't have one. There are so many people on stage. Yo, his dance moves. They showed the first real P5 trailer at the end of this video. The crowd went crazy. Oh no, not the dance moves. I can't with the dancing, bro. It's like how I dance when I'm at the club, just like low effort, just like mostly arm movement, you know. Ooh, sorry. I hope they don't stop doing Persona dancing games. I'm just trying to think, like, All right, wrap your heart out, sir. I still don't understand, like, why did they just do, like, there's no more coordination when it comes with the glow sticks. They just have this motion. There's no, like, back and forth or, like, some cool, like, moves with it. It's just like, yeah, I remember liking the song with the openings. It's just the opening itself just wasn't really that hype. Atlas kind of better than most companies. Most companies make you wait for a sequel of their games. Atlas makes dancing games. I mean, if you don't like dancing games, then you kind of feel like the odd one out. I'm still amazed at the crowd turnout, but I guess like Persona is like kind of almost as big as Final Fantasy over there in Japan, so okay, I'm here. Travel like Marco Polo. That bar made sense, and it's in English. I'm surprised. I'm impressed. I mean, yeah, she's a Japanese singer. Of course, she's going to be very cute. They make sure they don't let no uggos loose in the industry over there. But yeah, she is very cute. P4 singer is underrated compared to 3 and 5.
Each other on this fire, a tragic countless cell of light.
I think this concert would be a lot more fun to go to, considering like Persona music is just music that you would listen to in general, whereas like One Wing Angel is good, but you're not trying to bop to that. You get what I'm saying? That's the OG Persona 3 singer appearing. Maze of Life certified meme banger. Oh yeah, speaking of that, hold on. Speaking of that, I saw something in my recommended while I was doing the opening reactions. If you haven't checked it out, check it out by the way. What's it? Okay, this is the one that I'm talking about. Okay. For those of you guys, if you are a fan of Danganronpa, you might find this interesting. It's so well made. Like this just showed up in my recommendations, and I just got done playing through the first chapter of Danganronpa 2. Oh no. Ironically, this part in the original opening, I was saying this looked literally just like, this literally looked just like Danganronpa. That's hilarious. I love that. I love that. Especially as someone who just got is currently getting into Danganronpa as well. I like how this crossover. Let me see. If you wanted to check out the P5 trailer reveal, skip ahead to 2 hours and 19 minutes. Yeah, I'm trying to see the pop off. What were y'all like? That means I have to watch these concerts because one of them might have like Persona 6 dropping. All right, I'm just going to skip to 16. So polite. All right, I'm just going to skip ahead to like the pop off. I'm trying to put myself in the moment. Okay, so I'm in the crowd. Ooh, okay. Did they play any music from it? Or like, I'm confused, like.
Welcome to Night of Phantom.
Oh, they did the original teaser?
我々がなぜ予告通りここ日本武道館に参上したのか。それは今宵皆様の心をいただくためだ。
I would be crying. Oh. Oh, so they released a lot more. Oh, they released the intro. Okay, that's hype. That's actually hype. Oh, okay. I couldn't imagine as a Persona fan seeing that. That would be like me now seeing like a Persona 6 drop it just randomly. That's fun. I like that. It leaked all over Twitter. Didn't this game came out a year before it did in the West? I would just remember Persona 5 just being weird in general because Sega or Atlas, at least, they were like, you can't stream past certain events, can't do this, can't do that. Which is probably why content creators got into this so late, because if Atlas was directly being like, no, you can't stream shit, like, of course. Okay. 9 months wait for English version. I want to understand the tech in these glow sticks. Do they change? Who changes the colors for them? How does it alternate? Japan is crazy, bro. Japan is, because at first it was yellow for Persona 4, and then it changed red when the P5 announcement came on. Is it time based? Did they have to sync it up timely, or is it like a Bluetooth signal in each one of these? Can you keep these glow sticks? I have more questions right now. Must be some Wi-Fi, maybe. I better see some YouTubers. I better see some YouTubers actually be involved in P3's marketing this time. I mean, I mean, Atlas has gotten a lot better with that, especially now that they're with Sega, and like Sega knows a little bit better. Oh, speaking of pure nostalgia, I'm about to show y'all something real quick that I didn't know. Hold on. So I initially got something. So this playlist popped up for me like 10 years ago. And I've just been, and this has been my go-to playlist ever since. I did not know that this was Persona related. Hold on. Y'all know something about this, and can y'all explain to me what this was? It says P5 on here, and like I remember this. It was a channel called P5 Cross Atlas, and this was just like a place where I got dope music that I can put on the background that wouldn't get dinged by copyright. But like it had like a bunch of songs in here that were really dope. Specifically this one. Hold on. Fan-made OST before it was even announced, I think. For the longest time, I thought this was Persona 5 music. Before like I even played Persona 5. That's insane. Okay. But yeah, this playlist is actually, if you want good music to put in the background of like streams, or if you wanted to like just listen in the background, this music is pretty good. And it doesn't get dinged by copyright. Some songs don't, I don't think. All right. If you guys want to stick with me through this, there's a video that I want to take a look at explaining the timeline of the SMT series. Because along with Persona, I've been interested in getting into the SMT series. And we're probably not going to watch the whole thing. I'll probably put it on 2x speed, if I'm being honest. Okay, why did it? I must have had this playing in the background somewhere. But this series is something that...
The reveal of Soul Hackers 2 is more significant than you may realize. While the Shin Megami Tensei franchise has been going strong in recent
This is... I stumbled upon a treasure trove of not content, but like games I can play.
Non-re-released Shin Megami Tensei game since Devil Survivor 2 on the DS back in 2011. And there's so much more to this series and its 35-year history than is apparent at first glance. Spin-offs upon spin-offs, each with their own take on what was initially established with the first game. But considering that most of these games were never released outside of Japan, unscrambling them can be a Gordian knot of confusion.
SMT is good, but its plot is more of a vibe than a real well-written story.
There's a lot, and it doesn't even begin with games. And that's because Shin Megami Tensei is not the first game in the series. That honor belongs to Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei, or Reincarnation of the Goddess, which itself is based on a trilogy of Japanese novels under the same name, written by Aya Nishitani. The first two.
The thing is, I like the gameplay a lot
who develops a demon summoning program in order
of Persona, because I fuck with Pokemon. Pokemon was my go-to all-time favorite game, and Persona does that in a way that's challenging and engaging.
Along with a single-episode anime, 2 different video games were released based on this novel under the same name. Incredibly, the 2 teams were aware of one another and decided to play against type, as at the time RPGs were associated more with the PC, while action games were more often found on the family.
The strategy games with time management.
True to its action ambitions, it plays a lot like Gauntlet, where players had to fight through 160 floors of enemies.
So like, yeah, I've stumbled upon a treasure trove of JRPGs that I haven't even heard of. Because for some reason, I was never able to get into the older Final Fantasy games. I don't know why. I'm playing remake of Final Fantasy VII right now, and I love that. But any of the older Final Fantasy games I wasn't able to get into, but Persona latched me in.
Just like the games released today, negotiations often involve saying the right thing along with giving the demon money, an item, or a material known as magnetite. Players were allowed to have 7 demons at a time, though only 4 could be summoned during battle. However, that aid came at a cost, as players had to spend money to even summon them, and their magnetite would be used simply by keeping the demons active while outside of battle. On top of that, the demons did not earn experience like the humans, and instead had to be fused with other demons to become stronger. It's incredible to me how many aspects of the series began here, simply as a way to appear more original. I mean, it worked, becoming the key element for most of the franchise. And it all began with what was ostensibly a licensed game. It's akin to Square's own Parasite Eve becoming a powerhouse series in its own right, rather than a beloved cult classic. However, it didn't take long for many of the restrictions created by adhering to the source material to be cast off.
Have you seen the Metaphor trailers? It's the next Atlas game after Reload. Yeah. If you want to see an initial reaction, it's on the channel right now. Just search Metaphor reaction and it should pop up. But yeah, I'm really interested in that game.
I joke, but it's actually clever as the player begins playing this video game and only realizes it's a game within a game once they get a game over. Pazuzu then grants them access to the demon summoning program and warns them of a coming menace. And
might be a good starting point. Well, I'm going to be playing through Nocturne on live stream starting on Monday. We're going to be doing that and Reload at the same time. So if you want to check that out there, or check it out, it's going to be on the channel. And I'm going to do a highlighted version for those of you guys that don't want to watch a 3-hour stream. Metaphor seems to be a Persona take on the adventure aspect of normal RPGs, while I kind of think the game could have multiple route endings for some reason. Can't hear the video. Okay.
It was the transition to the
Turn
Super
up a little
Famicom that
bit.
would signal a significant shift. So why is the series mainly referred to as Shin Megami Tensei, at least in the West? Well, it was a chance for the developers to do what they wanted with the series and put their own brand on it. To many of the developers, it was almost seen as a remake of Megami Tensei 2, making its scenario much easier to write. And that's reflected in the title. Shin Megami Tensei translates to True Reincarnation of the Goddess, as it is their true vision of the series.
True Reincarnation of the Goddess? I did not
Shin
know.
can also mean new, and is often used to denote a remake or reboot. It's why Japan's Godzilla reboot was titled Shin Godzilla, and why Nintendo has a tendency to stick new in front of a bunch of games and systems. The idea fits, as while there
Why
are
is the video sped up? Because it's 2 hours long, and I want to, and I want to like get all the information in without watching 2 hours of content. If you want me to slow it down, I'm fine doing that, but there's just a lot of.
Meanwhile, a scientist has opened a portal to the demon world, causing demons to infest the city. This in turn,
Like I can understand it just fine, but if you want me to slow it down, I can put it back down to normal
the world
speed.
takes us up to the player, as they choose between the two or stay neutral. But no matter what, they find themselves teleported to another plane of existence with the other heroes as missiles are launched toward Tokyo. The group awakens 35 years later in the apocalypse.
I feel like SMT games have too much existential dread for me. If I'm being quite honest, like I'm afraid to play these and end up questioning everything, because aren't they like post-apocalyptic games?
Gameplay-wise, much of it remains similar to Megami Tensei 2, though factions played a greater role, as demons or locations associated with law or chaos would want nothing to do with the player if they were aligned with the opposite side. But its defining feature could be considered the decision to set the events in Tokyo. This made it stand out amongst other RPGs on the Super Famicom, and the developers decided to lean into it. Tokyo was seen as a place with a turbulent history, often suffering massive damage during wars, and going through many phases of development. To them, this made the setting similar to other traditional RPGs.
Devil Survivor on the 3DS will be very fun to you. Grounds the characters like Persona games. They're about surviving natural disasters, disturbing daily life, and not the post-apocalypse.
At this point, sequels were inevitable, and dear
I might check that out.
That being said, Shin Megami Tensei was not the moniker of the next game released only 2 months later.
Yeah, I might go ahead and check that out. Devil
Instead,
Survivor.
That would be Megami Tensei Gaiden Last Bible, and as implied by Gaiden,
Oh my
was
god, there's so
considered a
many
side
SMT
story,
games.
a chance to appeal
This
to a
looks
wider
old as
audience,
shit.
as the creatures depicted weren't labeled demons, but monsters. That said, much of the gameplay established by earlier titles is featured here. Players run around the world fighting monsters and can choose to recruit them via conversation. Certain party members have an easier time talking.
So
with
many
certain
games
types of
solo.
demons,
Well, if you
but using
subscribe,
battle and
if you
fusion
haven't
is
already,
all
by the way.
there. Really, the biggest difference was the
I'll
setting,
I'll
as
check
it was
them all
based more
out.
on traditional fantasy.
They look interesting to me, at least.
Control an energy known as Gaia. But monsters
It's called
who are
Last
also capable of
Bible.
using Gaia begin overrunning the world, forcing L to set out on a journey to not only discover their
I could have
origin,
tricked my
but
Christian
defeat the
parents
four
into
masters who control
letting me
all
play
other
this.
monsters. The story is kept simple with no morality system, and the gameplay is likewise easier. Again, this was meant
There's
to
so many
appeal more to
SMT games.
children.
It's funny
And,
Pokemon
hey,
got
fun fact,
a
this was only the
controversy
third
about
game of the
summoning
franchise to be
demons.
released in the West, but
Well,
not until
to be granted, the
1999
only
was
Persona
this
game
enhanced
that, or
version
the
on
only
Game Boy
SMT game
Color.
that came out in
Stateside,
America
it was
around that
renamed
time period
Revelations:
was
The Demon Slayer.
Persona
Frankly, it
1,
did
right?
just fine,
Revelations.
though the gameplay
So,
was seen as dated, considering it was mainly developed 7
and
years earlier.
clearly that wasn't
Yeah,
a
that makes
powerhouse
sense.
of a
But the
title,
original
so
release
so
sold well
of course they
enough in
didn't
Japan to see
gather
a
around it.
sequel in
Meanwhile, Pokemon was
1993.
anything and
Last
everywhere.
Bible 2 is basically more of the same from a gameplay standpoint, and only saw minor enhancements.
And I'm assuming
to
in
its
Japan they don't
graphics.
give a shit
The
about
biggest
that.
change was the ability to
Devil
equip
summoning
accessories
stuff.
to recruited monsters in order to
Only
increase
us
their
weird
power.
Americans.
That said, it is a brand new story where, in ancient times, monsters and humans fought bitterly for control of the planet, ending in a 2,000-year stalemate. Players take the role of Yuri, who was raised by a group of monsters, and is tasked with stopping the coming apocalypse. This event will be triggered by an immensely powerful monster whose return was marked by Yuri's own birth and connected their fates. Side story is right. This has gotten far removed.
There's a
from the
good
original
meme
Megami
about
Tensei,
Pokemon
but
popularity
perhaps that's for
made
the
sure
best,
that
as
they
the soul
draw
of the
all
series seems to have
criticism
become
from Christian
monster and
groups while
demon
SMT got off
negotiation and
scot-free.
And with
I mean, just be
1994's Majin
unpopular.
Tensei,
That's all you
or
have to
Demon
do.
God reincarnation, that core idea was brought to a slightly different genre, a strategy RPG.
Oh no, a
That
strategy
said, it
RPG.
doesn't
This is the
necessarily do
tactics of
anything that new,
Tactica of
and
the
it takes a lot
SMT
of its
series.
basics from Fire Emblem Mystery of the Emblem. Battle maps are shown from a top-down perspective with basic sprites to represent characters. Combat plays out as expected with the usual attacks and supports. Demons can still be recruited and
Yo,
fused,
that
but
overworld
Magnetite returns
city.
as a resource
Look
that
how
must be
flat that
managed.
city
Have too
was.
many demons on the field or take too long in battle, and the Magnetite will run out, leaving you on your own. It succeeds in bringing the typical Shin Megami Tensei mechanics to the strategy genre, but Majin Tensei is most known for its absolutely gorgeous sprite work. Many tout it as the best looking Tensei game on the Super Famicom.
I mean, as long as they don't go to that overworld, this is the best looking game.
Story-wise, it takes place in the aftermath of a large-scale ethnic war where a large portion of the world was
What?
closed off. Decades
A
later, the
large-scale
player receives a
ethnic
Sony
war?
program shortly before demons begin appearing all over Tokyo. During his efforts to rescue people from the demons, the protagonist comes across a young girl in cryogenic sleep. with
It's crazy
no
how old
memory.
Atlas
Together, they
is,
must
yeah.
fight back the demon horde while learning more of her past. While there's no morality system, there are 3 different endings based on your choices.
Like I literally just
fall into
discovered
more traditional
Persona
categories of
when
bad,
around
evil,
when
and
5
best.
the Royal
It was
came
only
out,
2
so
months later that Shin Megami Tensei 2 finally released on the Super Famicom, picking up several decades after the end of the original.
like
Shin
yeah,
Megami
this is
Tensei.
it's
It was
interesting
intended
going
to
back and
boast
seeing like,
its own,
oh,
so
you
players
like
can
these
feel
games? We have like
anything in the
1,000
original.
other
In the
games.
intervening time, disasters
Check
plagued
'em out.
Tokyo, leaving the air unbreathable. Humanity has taken shelter in the new Tokyo Millennium, where a class system has taken shape. Players
Okay.
take the role of Aleph, a gladiator with no memory who learns that he's actually the Messiah.
Yo, what?
Now he must
What the
fight
fuck?
demons
Okay, I
and
can see what you're
anti-Messiah
saying about the
in order to
stories
prepare the
being
world
kind of
for a
weird.
1,000-year kingdom of
What?
paradise. Of course, nothing is ever simple, and the player's choices could lead to one of several endings. While the gameplay remained mostly the same from the original, there were some notable changes.
A car and a
One is the
oh.
overall decrease in difficulty to make it less brutal than the original, and this includes some quality of life improvements. While exploring dungeons, again in first person, the auto map screen can be brought up with the tap of a button to make navigation easier. There's also a bar indicating how likely demons are to attack, allowing players to prepare for a fight.
Okay, that's
Somewhat,
good.
an element carried over to future Shin Megami Tensei titles. Likewise, this was the first instance of skill inheritance in the series, where the newly fused demons could use spells passed on from the previous demons, although which one chosen was left random.
Wonder what it would be like to be an old SMT fan. Ooh, there's fusions?
To give the player a greater variety of demons to fuse and recruit.
Okay, interesting, but I mean, at least there are other spin-offs of the same variety. It's not like, oh, here goes a spin-off that is a strategy RPG, and then like here goes a dancing game.
But it wasn't the last game in the series to be released in 1994.
Also, at least they're not bad as Kingdom Hearts, where it's just like, this mobile game has story consequences that you need to pay attention to. What if our school is drawn into another world? This is the story.
That would be Shin Megami Tensei If, a what-if game that told the story of what would happen if the apocalypse didn't occur.
What?
The idea was to make it smaller in scope, and that's reflected in its shorter playtime.
I feel like this is...
It was made highly replayable thanks to an early choice in the game. The story focuses on Hideo Hazama, a bullied high school student who decides to get revenge by performing an occult ceremony in the school itself.
All right, relax.
Grants him the power to become the deity emperor, but
and also I feel like this is like a
expanse where demons dwell.
Like a beta for Persona.
Take the role of either a male or female student who tries to escape the demon realm with the help of the Comp, a device from the original Shin Megami Tensei that contains the demon summoning program, allowing them to negotiate and recruit demons. What makes this entry unique is rather than a player's alignment dictating the ending, it comes from their choice and partner.
Okay.
3 students are available from the beginning.
I might check out this one. This one actually seems interesting.
The first 3 offer their own version of
this game heavily inspired the first one. I can probably see why that's the case.
The 4th is similar, except that the pair instead have to climb the massive Tower of Confinement. Other than this new structure, the biggest gameplay change was the Guardian Spirit system. Whenever the player or their partner dies in battle, they are revived at the last save point and given a new Guardian Spirit. This spirit affects their stat growths, giving players the chance to come back stronger. Unfortunately, there's no way to actually choose a spirit, and death means you're forced to change it, leading to some criticism. But the setting of If proved to be its most enduring legacy, as the mix of high school, its associated problems, and demons were quite popular and would lead directly to the creation of the Persona series. In fact, If takes place in the same continuity.
Okay.
But there's still a few years until
she has a Nintendo Power Arm attached to her.
The next game would be a sequel to Majin Tensei, Majin Tensei 2 Spiral Nemesis. Like
oh no, not Spiral Nemesis.
Games, it's not a direct sequel, though it features similar settings. This time it focuses on a demon invasion that transforms Tokyo into a demon capital. Humans band together to resist this takeover, with players taking the role of Naoki, whose choices between law and chaos will take the world in very different directions. It's much more story-focused than its predecessor, though it does make a few trade-offs in gameplay that has caused some debate on which is the better game. As for those changes, the overall map is shifted to an angled viewpoint, making it stand out a bit more from Fire Emblem, though the sprites are still incredibly basic.
Yeah, they look
both the character attacking and the character being attacked during battle, but the artwork has taken a notable dip in exchange. Battle conditions have been expanded beyond defeating all enemies, but the goals remain pretty basic. Take an enemy base, defeat a boss, or take on a random horde of demons to grind experience, money, and new demons for fusion. Otherwise, the terrain of a map can grant bonuses depending on where units stop. Spiral Nemesis technically marked the end of the Majin Tensei series. There was a sequel, but, well,
I like these graphics, honestly, still looks good.
The series got a massive push with 3 different games released in March of 1995.
Last Bible 3 character art is disgusting, bro. Who did this? Who let the artist cook like this?
Game Boy. Set in the same world as Last Bible 2, years have passed and a peace has been formed between humans and monsters. However, the new united government is working to ban the use of magic as they strive to create a perpetual engine for free energy. But something darker lurks underneath as a young boy named Ciel gets swept into these events after mysterious soldiers ransack his village in an attempt to kill his father. The gameplay mostly stays the same as Last Bible 2.
That is some 90s anime. No, that's fucking, what is it? How to draw manga type anime?
How well the player's monster negotiation is going. It's what you'd expect from a 16-bit
fucking
RPG,
Tokyo Pop type manga anime.
Generally considered the best
and if you know, you know.
Subseries. Alongside Last Bible 3 was another Bible.
Oh no,
for the
never
Game Boy,
mind.
which itself was a spin-off of the series, taking it in a strategy RPG direction. There's not much to say about it though, as it brings hardly anything new to the genre. The story is kept simple, where a monster cult has encouraged monsters to throw away their peace with humans. At the same time, a boy named Cassio rescues a girl named Pythia, and the two travel the world to stop the
as in
cult
the
and
watch?
restore harmony. Honestly, the most notable thing about it is how battle maps are blank save for where your character is moving and the locations of the monsters themselves. But I suppose it was something for Game Boy fans. Stranger still was Megami Tensei Gaiden Last Bible Special, which released at the end of that same March and was developed exclusively for the Game Gear by Sega. Unsurprisingly, the shift in developers resulted in a game wholly disconnected from the tone and gameplay of the previous titles. Rather than a fantasy world, it dives headfirst into a Christian setting with players taking control of Mattel, who is tasked by the Pope to brave 4 dungeons in order to free Jerusalem from the Demon King.
What?
The dungeons are explored from a first-person perspective, much like the mainline Megami Tensei games.
Hey yo,
but it was a first for the last.
take this game to church, your pastor won't be mad.
Really presented.
No, pastor, I'm trying to free Jerusalem from the demons. You don't understand. I'm the only survivor. Hold on, let me put some skill points into luck.
Be the last game released in this subseries. But the next game marked the first, as it was the first time a Shin Megami Tensei title was localized for the West.
The Pope sent me.
Jack Bros for the Virtual Boy. Well, that's an auspicious start.
Jack Bros? No, that sounds nasty.
What that's worth. The story is set.
Oh no, it is on the fucking Virtual Boy.
Unfortunately, Jack Frost, Pyro Jack, and Jack Ripper all lost track of time in their fun and are forced to use a danger-filled shortcut if they have any hope of ever returning.
I'm sorry, I'm not playing a game called Jack Bros.
Jack Frost is an early game demon who first debuted in Megami Tensei 2.
So these are like the Pikachu and Eevee of
Shin Megami Tensei,
Shin Megami Tensei, right?
Trickster well known today, who has become a mascot for Atlas as a whole due to his popularity both among fans.
Since Shin Megami Tensei fandom is the Neo Bible community, hey,
Megami Tensei 2 with a very different design.
I wouldn't mind joining that.
Eventually got grouped with Jack Frost as a kind of brother. The two are often paired, but less common is Jack Ripper, who didn't debut
Jack
until
Frost.
Shin Megami Tensei 2. I suppose the developers just really wanted a trio. But never mind.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen that game before, where you're like, it's a platformer Metrovania type game.
Terrifying for what's simply a cutesy labyrinth spin-off.
Yo, that actually looks sick.
Jack Frost got Mike Wazowski. Seriously, look at the Japanese box art, then look at how it was marketed.
No, that's American right there. I fuck with that jack-o'-lantern right there.
The game itself, players choose one of the jacks and must navigate a labyrinth from the top-down perspective while using normal
a Pikachu who would shoot you if you negotiated wrong and then call you a hoe.
Takes causes it to decrease faster. The goal is to navigate multiple floors across 6 levels where they must find keys
that's
in a
mad
given
annoying.
time. Naturally, traps and enemies increase the farther players go.
Why would you want to play this? Why would you want to have this strapped to your head and look at this? This actually would be cool if it was like had a better frame rate and color than just red.
As a playable character. Critics generally enjoyed the game, noting the surprisingly good music and fun yet simple design. Again, it's considered one of the best games on the Virtual Boy, making for a solid Western debut.
That's sad. The fact that this is the best game on the Virtual Boy.
One more game released in 1995, marking the start of a new sub-series. Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner forgoes the usual tale of the apocalypse in favor of a modern story focused on an unnamed college student in the fictional Hirosaki City, who is saved from demons by a detective and demon hunter named Kyoji Kuzunoha. However, Kyoji is soon found murdered and the same fate befalls the student. But instead of passing on to the afterlife, the protagonist finds himself possessing the body of Kyoji. He must now work with
destroying
Kyoji's
your
partner Ray
vision
to pursue
just to
the
help
deranged
out
serial
Jack.
killer that murdered the two
No,
men
bro.
while fending
He
off
wouldn't.
rampaging
He
demons.
wouldn't join my
The
party.
gameplay
So no,
mostly
me and
holds
Jack,
true to the norms of Shin
me and
Megami
Jack on
Tensei,
hateful
but
terms.
There were some twists on the formula. During battle, your party could be arranged on a 2x3 grid that determined how they could attack enemies. If they were in the back row but had no long-range weapon, then they wouldn't be as effective. And while there was an alignment system in the game, it didn't affect the ending. Only what demons were available to recruit and fuse. Perhaps the most divisive change was the inclusion of the demon loyalty system. It wasn't enough to recruit demons, players had to keep them happy.
I want to kind of talk about the old art style. Who was the artist for the old? So there's multiple. It seems like, I don't know if it was the same artist, but there was multiple artists, right? For Persona, right? Because there's the art style that was like from 1 and 2, and then like early SMT,
becoming the 14th best-selling game on the system in Japan,
and then like it transitioned into just like generic anime.
However, it was 1996 that marked the beginning of the spin-off that would eventually overtake the main series in popularity, Megami Ibanroku Persona. The Megami marked it as part of the Shin Megami Tensei series, while Ibanroku translates to Strange Record. This naming scheme was only kept in Japan for this game, though, as
did the
all
OG
future
part
titles
and
were
then
simply
for
called
SMT.
Persona. This was also the second Shin Megami Tensei game released in the West, though there were quite a few things that
I
separated
tried to
from the
play
rest
this
of the
game
series,
on the
even in this first
PlayStation Classic or whatever the fuck it was called, the PlayStation, you know, the little PlayStation Mini or whatever.
which is similar to the Bloody Mary folklore. The group
This
ended up
game is
passing
rough,
out and soon
but then
made
someone
a
told me to play the
debut known as
PSP version.
of
That's
being
better,
living
so
within the realm of
I'll check that out
consciousness and
eventually.
unconsciousness among all souls. He grants them the ability to use personas, and it's not long after that Mikage
And also,
becomes overrun
apparently they
with demons
blackfaced
through
that
the actions
character.
of a group known as Seaback. The high schoolers must investigate the group, defeat demons along the way, and restore peace to the town. There is some replayability, though, as a second storyline can be discovered that shifts the party into a completely new
P1 is
series
not
of events.
good.
And
P2
right
is
off the
cool
bat,
though.
It discards tradition by having no demons in the party whatsoever, while battles take place from an isometric viewpoint.
P1
The same is
PS1
certain
version
cutscenes.
is
Up to 6
if you
characters can be
have
in
all
party
the
at a
time in the world
arranged
to
on a
play a
2x3
P1
grid
game.
like Devil Summoner. But if all the enemies in a certain character's range are
I mean,
defeated,
on that
character
on that
much use
PlayStation
anymore.
Mini,
It
that
is
was the only
possible to view
playable
each
game
character
because the
during
other
battle,
games ran
but a
like
full party
shit.
makes
So
it somewhat of a hassle. Demons, as they're traditionally known, have been relabeled as Persona, and
but if I
rather
do
than
go
being
back to
the party
Persona
itself,
1,
are
I'm going to be
equipped
doing the
party
portable
members.
version.
The entire system of equipping personas was to expand upon the Guardian system from Shin Megami Tensei If.
But apparently
The
2
idea
is
was to give
better.
special powers to
So
other
if I were to
characters
cover the
besides
series,
the protagonist.
does it matter if I
However,
start
not
with
all
2
personas can be
or
equipped to all characters, as some are incompatible with their arcana. Arcana are basically the same as demon races from previous games and follow the names of the major tarot arcana. As an example, this means the protagonist can equip personas of the Hierophant, Death, or Star Arcana.
That's stupid.
In addition, the initial and ultimate persona of a character can only be used with that character.
Oh, this
That
is
being said, if
early
you do have a strong affinity
Persona,
for
bro.
Persona's Arcana, they
I
can
would
possibly
hate this
activate their
game.
latent skill. Either way, these persona appear in battle as ghostly figures rising above the character, which created a comparison to Stan's from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. With no demons to directly recruit,
Persona 2 is just a
negotiation has
good
changed its
game.
purpose somewhat.
Deeper story than
Conversations
1.
with enemies will put them in different moods that in turn could
Oh,
make them
that's-
attack the party, run from the battle, give an item, or provide a special spell card. Those cards can then be taken to Philemon's Velvet Room, where the
2
proprietor,
has story.
Igor,
2 has story links to
Philemon
1
is
in
forbidden from
comparison
directly
to 3
affecting events,
to 5.
but this is
Although
where
they
Igor
are
comes
spoiler
in,
heavy
as
for
he
my
can summon
mouth.
new personas for the characters from the spell cards on
Okay.
hand.
Persona
at
2
least
is
for
just a good
fee.
game, has deeper
Each character can be
gameplay.
equipped with 3 personas at a
Okay.
time and can switch between them during battle. However, they can only be exchanged with new personas within the Velvet Room.
Yo, this game
Fusion
looks
is also
rough.
present as the cards can be fused together to create a new persona, which itself
Like,
can
out of
grant
all the
skills from
old
spell
games,
cards
maybe it's because I'm
used.
comparing
There's
it in
even a
my
chance
mind
for
to
a rare
the
persona
current
of the
version
full
of
arcana to
Persona,
appear if a
but
fusion accident occurs,
like this just
leaving a
looks
reason
rougher
to
than the other
fuse
old
as much
games
as
that we
possible.
saw.
The game was an immediate hit in Japan, selling 201,000 copies in its first week, a record
People
for the
recommend
series
just
that
reading
wasn't
Persona
topped
1's
until the
manga
release
for
of
the
Persona
story.
5. It would go on to be the 21st best-selling game of
Damn.
1996, with many praising its unique setting and story, including many Western outlets. That's especially impressive considering all the localization changes made to the game, including excising most references to Japan, changing
For
Persona's
Persona
names,
2 Eternal
removing the ultimate
Punishment,
story
have
track,
to play
and changing every
the fan
character's name and appearance.
translation
Thankfully, the
PSP port.
PSP re-release of the game reverted all those changes, allowing for a more faithful experience along with quality of life
I will
improvements.
check that
The
one
next Shin
out.
Megami
Fan
Tensei game
translation.
came in April of 1997 and is the first of 2 PC exclusive games in the series. Giten Megami Tensei Tokyo Moku Shiroku, or False Reincarnation
Tokyo
of the Goddess,
Moku
Tokyo Revelation,
Shiroku.
is a kind of retelling of Megami Tensei 2, at least in its initial setup. After a nuclear cataclysm, humanity resides in underground shelters found across Japan, while demons roam the surface, having been set loose by the apocalypse. The story follows Ayato Katsuragi, a young man who joins the demon defense force known as the Devil Busters. Unfortunately, when another shelter is seemingly attacked, Ayato is tricked into downloading a virus disguised as a demon-repelling program. This causes him to become possessed by a demon, where he then kills several civilians and lowers the shelter's defenses so demons can invade and wreak havoc. This event is what frees Ayato from the possession, where he becomes determined to travel across Japan and put a stop to the demons once and for all. In terms of gameplay, it has many of the hallmarks of past Shin Megami Tensei games, exploring dungeons in first person, multiple endings based on choices, demon recruitment, demon fusion, and the like, but demons can earn their own experience and level up while also equipping weapons and armor to strengthen them. It also forgoes the typical turn-based system, and instead has each character.
Yo, this game actually looks cool.
They can move again, taking a page from Final Fantasy's active time battle. While I'm not familiar with all the ins and outs of every Shin Megami Tensei game, Giten Megami Tensei has a reputation as one of the more graphic games in the series, with frequent female nudity and certain graphic depictions.
Yo, is there a translation for this game? I repeat, is there a translation for this game? Because
the Majin Tensei strategy series was released on the Sega Saturn.
I'm asking for a friend, you guys.
Rather than being developed by the same team who worked on the first two entries, it was handed to Multimedia Intelligence Transfer, the developers behind the last Bible series. The story
oh no, what the freak is this?
A young man in the near future who visits a museum with two friends and his younger
yo,
brother.
I'm that friend.
However, the museum
together scour the internet for a translation for that game. We're on it.
Writings are decoded by a
what the heck is this?
Not only unleashes the demon within the crystal statue, but causes an outbreak of demons within cyberspace. The freak
that animation.
kidnaps Asuka's younger brother and escapes into the computer, forcing Asuka and his friends to give chase. Gameplay-wise, not much has been changed from Majin Tensei 2, except players can no longer talk directly with demons. Instead, they may choose to converse with you after being defeated, and then join if the correct responses were given. There are also demon contracts that can allow human party members to use that demon's magic.
Oh, what was that? What was the name of the game called? Hold on.
And a demo actually led to the cancellation of pre-orders. Much of that may be due to the game's graphics,
Tokyo Moku Shiroku,
and each battle sequence can take about 30 seconds to complete due to sluggish animations and load times. Sadly, this poor showing marked the end of the Majin Tensei series. So why didn't Atlus handle the development themselves? Well, that would be due to a different sequel, Devil Summoner Soul Hackers, which released less than 2 weeks later. Its story centers on a new protagonist that belongs to a group of hackers called the Spookies, who are able to hack their way into a beta invite for a new virtual world called Paradigm X. As the protagonist talks with the mysterious Red Man, he eventually learns that there are
is that a floating dog?
Through a series of vision quests, he learns about demon hunters and a group called the Phantom Society, who are using the virtual world to steal souls. While it is a new story and a new setting, several characters from the original Devil Summoner do appear, including Kyoji Kuzunoha and his assistant Rei Reiho, who are also investigating.
Yo, this game actually, she looks dope.
Hackers doesn't bring much new to the table and instead focuses on refining what was already in Devil Summoner. The graphics are better, the
Devil Summoner Soul Hackers,
and the loyalty system has been refined, allowing players to become better friends with their demons and encourage them to use moves that they wouldn't normally want to in battle. Upgrades can also be installed in the player's GUMP, or gun computer, which allows them to shoot and summon demons, making exploration a little easier or even allowing them to save anywhere. Soul Hackers was popular enough to be ported from the Sega Saturn to the PlayStation in Japan.
Reading the Bible and watching. I mean, they have an interesting outlook on Supernatural. I can give them that. I feel like the West is a little bit stilted when it comes to its inspiration, when it comes to... Okay, this is two everybody's talking about. This is the second one.
Surprisingly, the series had no new releases in 1998 and didn't return until June of '99 with Persona 2 Innocent Sin for the PlayStation. The sequel had gone into development soon after the release of the original and picks up 3 years after in the fictional Sumeru City.
Okay.
The protagonist, Tatsuya Suo, and one of his friends are approached by a boy from another high school to join his band, but a school rivalry sparks an argument that somehow leads to the awakening of their personas. Philemon appears to warn the trio that rumors are becoming reality in the city, but despite this, they still decide to try a new urban legend game. By calling their own phone number, they can summon a being known as Joker and be granted a wish. But upon seeing them, Joker calls them out for their sin and drains most of the group of their ideal energy,
What?
which is described as the essence of hopes and dreams. Now they, along with a reporter named Maya and her assistant Yukino, who returns from the original persona, must investigate Joker, confront the cult around him,
Joker.
and even contend with Nazis.
Looking
made
good,
real thanks to the
Joker.
power of rumors. Much like
I'm the
Summoner's
Joker,
sequel, Persona 2
baby.
makes improvements across the board, improving load times, increasing the amount of save points, and generally trying to streamline the game when possible. The grid system has been removed from the original to make battles a little easier, while the party
Okay,
size
so
has
this is
been
the
reduced to 5
PlayStation 1
characters.
version of Persona
Exploration
2.
is no longer in first person, and the game maintains an isometric view at all times. In addition, there's the rumor system, tying into the game's premise of rumors becoming reality. It's possible to hear a rumor from someone in town and make it real by spreading that rumor through the Kuzunoha Detective Agency. These rumors can make new accessories, weapons, and even shops appear for the party to use.
Yo, that's a
But
cool
speaking of
gameplay
Detective
mechanic.
Agency, one of its staff members is Tamaki, the female protagonist of Shin Megami Tensei If. She also appeared in the original Persona in a more minor role, but it's these connections that confirm that If, Persona, and the
Tamaki,
Devil
any
Summoner
relation to
sub-series all
Anna
take
Tamaki?
place in the same universe. Personas and enemy conversation work mostly the same as the original, though a few changes have been made.
Just do the
Spell
PSP
cards have become
version.
tarot
Yeah.
cards, which don't affect much outside the possibility of blank cards. These can be tailored to fit a chosen persona family and fuse what the player wants. It's also the only way to obtain personas of certain arcana.
Okay.
Each character's alignment with the arcana still comes into play, but rather than determine the chance of a latent skill, a strong alignment will decrease its spell costs and increase the chance of stat bonuses. It makes the entire persona system deeper than before. In terms of brand new features, Innocent Sin introduces the party's stock system, which allows characters to swap extra personas during battle. So if the enemy is weak to ice, but you only have Pyrojack, you can swap Pyrojack for a Jack Frost equipped to another character waiting in the wings.
Oh,
There are
okay.
also fusion spells where more powerful attacks are available if the right set of spells are used by different characters.
Yeah, the
in
Velvet
set
Room
order,
looked like kind of a
encouraging
chill place to hang. I'm trying to go to the
Character
Velvet
interaction
Room.
is emphasized more
All
than
right,
before,
guys.
as each
Here, okay,
safe
so
room
here's the
unit
goal, you
provides the
guys.
opportunity for the group to talk
I get okay, so clearly get famous off of YouTube, get a bunch of money. We make a Velvet Room themed bar.
amongst themselves, creating more of a bond between the player and party.
Do you think people will come to
Despite
it?
this step
Do you
forward,
think there's
it's only
enough
really
turnover
shown through new
fan
dialogue
base
options that become
that will go to a
available
Velvet
and some
Room
of our
bar?
Persona fusions. Although there is a bigger moment later in the game where Tatsuya can choose to date one of 3 other party members,
Ooh.
one of which is another man. This
Oh,
attraction
you
to
get
both
gay in this
sexes is
game?
mentioned throughout the game, though never judged, and the same applies to the male romance option. It has been
Okay.
lauded as one of the best representations of queer characters in an RPG, which is especially shocking considering the time it was released. Still, this and the Nazis are likely why Innocent Sin was never
sorry?
localized initially. That said, Innocent Sin
sorry, did he
was
say
not the end of
Nazis?
Persona 2's story. But before that, there was one other game released in 1999, this time for the Dreamcast, Maken X. It marks several firsts for the series, as it was the first fully
Modern
3D
Persona
title,
could never.
the first non-RPG,
Yeah, he said-
and the first time a game was directed by Katsura Hoshino, who would go on to direct Shin Megami Tensei 3,
Wait, there's a
Devil Saga,
blue-colored
and
bar
all
named
3
Velvet
modern
Room in
Personas.
Brooklyn?
The story focuses on
All
a
right, they
research institute that
definitely
develops the world's
Persona
first
fan.
artificial demon, who names itself Maken and takes the form of a sword. While ostensibly it was created to help with mental illnesses thanks to its brainjack ability, that's later revealed to not quite be the case. Instead, Maken has the ability to take control of its wielder and substitute its spirit essence with the host, while also being able to destroy that essence in others. Now it must stop several groups who have used this essence to warp their bodies in an effort to control the world. Naturally, the choices made by Maken will lead to one
Yo.
of several endings. As for its gameplay, Maken X is a first.
I don't know what they be smoking over there at Atlas. Okay, so you play as a sword that embodies a person.
Missions where new playable characters that Maken can brainjack await, and side missions. Each character Maken brainjacks has different stats and abilities, along with changing the appearance of Maken. The levels themselves are mostly linear, but the environment does feature limited platforming.
Ew, why does it look like he has a little dick coming out of him?
To backstep, strafe, and unleash a variety of combos. There's also an EX gauge for powerful special attacks. A kind of experience system is in place thanks to Essence or PSI points earned from defeated enemies. Maken's PSI level notes which characters he can brainjack. If their PSI is larger than his, then the brainjack will fail and the character will be unavailable. It was generally well received in Japan, earning one of the highest scores in Dreamcast magazine. Western critics were
higher than Shenmue
it as a highlight of the Dreamcast at the time. That brings us back to the second part of Persona 2, Eternal Punishment.
Eternal Punishment.
A year to the day after Innocent Sin. Early on into Innocent Sin's production, the scriptwriter felt that an alternate viewpoint beyond the main hero was necessary. The team even went so far as to foreshadow some of the major players of Eternal Punishment by having them appear as minor characters in Innocent Sin. The story this time around focuses on Maya and her investigation into the Joker phenomenon. This time, calling your own number will still summon Joker, but rather than granting a wish, he'll kill anyone you request.
What?
This eventually brings her to the Seven Sisters High School, where she and two other characters find its principal murdered by Joker. It's at this point
damn Joker, he wildin' in this game.
Given access to their personas, allowing them to delve
deeper. Japan gets very cool, uncensored versions of the game
as it slowly unravels not only what's going on in the city, but what happened at the end of
America, why you gotta be so
But that's also the
strict.
tricky part. If someone has played the first game, then they know why things are the way they are in Eternal Punishment. It's the changes and differences that pull them in. For newcomers,
I like the concept of Persona 2 Innocent Sin in this one as well.
Although many of those revelations might not hit
it seems a lot darker.
I honestly can't say for certain, but I do know that Eternal Punishment was localized in the West, meaning this exact scenario played out for anyone in the West who picked up the game. Naturally, due to being developed on the same engine as Innocent Sin, Eternal Punishment plays mostly the same as that game. There are some upgrades such as skippable battle animations and slightly better graphics. The story features some minor branching paths as well, but nothing too significantly different. For many, the Persona 2 duology is a hallmark of the franchise that even the recent Personas can't top.
Damn.
2000 also marked the start of another sub-series, itself a kind of callback to the last Bible in that it
when are we going to get to
Shin Megami Tensei game accessible for all ages?
to the fucking
gameplay,
Mirage
Devil
sessions?
Surv took more of its influence from Pokemon, including releasing with two versions, Black Book and Red Book. That said, unlike Pokemon, there were significant differences to the story between the two. Black Book focuses on Setsuna, an orphan
literally
brother. Lately, strange
okay, I want all y'all Power World people to calm the fuck down. All y'all Pokemon fans talking about Power World. This game came out 24 years ago. 24 years ago. Literally has two versions like Pokemon has. But nah.
The arrival of a mysterious package. Before he can open it, a horde of Petite Frost attempt to steal it along with Setsuna's brother.
Now you told me Mirage Sessions is peak now?
The Devil Riser gun, which summons his new partner.
So apparently Atlas just doesn't miss, apparently.
Petite Frost get away with his brother, forcing Setsuna to travel to the Demon World
to make their own Power World. All they need to do is learn how to make an open world
RPG.
on
the tale of Mirai. Setsuna's
I think they have the capability to do so. It's just that I think maybe they don't have the budget for it.
Until the demon Soda, taking the form of a different young boy, attempts to take the box. The struggle reveals her own Devil Riser, which summons her partner, Vale the Griffin. It isn't long before
this
she
is
learns that her
Pokemon.
father is actually in the demon world, so she sets out to
Stop.
The gameplay
Megami Tensei did it first. Megami Tensei copied first.
The children don't fight
no, Megami Tensei came before Pokemon.
If one of yours is
and then copied Pokemon at the same time.
Despite this, only the kids gain experience from battles, which makes demon
still don't
negotiation and fusion
get why
necessary to
uncensored
take on
versions of
stronger
other
threats.
countries games.
That said, each
Like we
version
get
has a
Baldur's
unique
Gate
method of
3.
fusion
The
available.
gamers don't
Black
really
Book
want
uses the
censored
standard
games.
racial fusion, while Red Book utilizes pure
American
mixed blood
censorship is
fusions.
weird.
Pure blood fusion fuses the same demon together.
Like some
increase the
things are
maximum
allowed,
hit
so
points,
others
magic
aren't.
points, and potentially
weird.
unlock hidden skills. If fused enough times, the demon can eventually evolve. Mixed blood fusion fuses two different demons together with results depending on the order chosen.
Pokemon copied
and their
Mega 10
individual
for
power
Creature
levels.
Collection,
If the
then
first
Mega
demon
10
chosen
copied
has a higher
Pokemon
level
back.
than the second, then the first will be
Basically.
strengthened. If the second demon chosen has the higher level, the first will transform into a higher level demon of the same race. This forced anyone playing both versions to utilize different strategies. The other major difference between the two involves the kids' partner demons. Cool and Veil can be ridden, which increases both the walking speed and the encounter rate. But the
Okay.
unique traits allow Cool to jump up ledges, walk on lava.
Look,
and
they even
cross
have more
obstacles
tech than
by digging
Pokemon had at that time. You
Veil
can ride
cross
your
cliffs,
Pokemon.
water, and ignore slippery
They didn't
terrain
get this
thanks to
until
its flight.
Scarlet and
However,
Violet.
she
Like,
cannot cross lava,
and y'all
must
want to talk
fall down
about Power
holes in the
World
ground.
being.
This difference in abilities can make certain parts of the game easier or harder depending on the version, with some
Kids
areas
nowadays
only
like
being
guns instead of
accessible in either
demons.
Black Book or Red
I
Book.
mean,
Naturally, each version had exclusive demons, which encouraged players to trade. The game
I
was
mean,
seen
that's
as
why
mostly
Persona
average
Reload is
to
getting
most
so
critics upon
popular now.
release,
You get a
although
gun
many
and you get to
noted it
shoot
had more
yourself
depth
with
than
that gun.
Pokemon
Come
at
on
the
now.
time. 2001 would see the first sequel to Devil Children, White Book, which focuses on a new protagonist, Masaki, and his connection to another boy named Takaharu. The two's fates have been manipulated by angels and demons, though this is unknown to them.
You can ride them in Gen
Gen
6 and 7
This all
too.
changes when the returning Soda attacks Masaki. Fortunately, he obtains his own Devil Riser and partner demon, Clay the Chimera, to fend off the assault. But his troubles are only beginning as a different horde of demons attack Takaharu's younger sister and place her under a sleeping curse, laying the blame firmly at Masaki's feet. Now he must travel to the demon world.
And
to
thank you
find
for
a
the follow
cure,
over on
clear his
Twitch.
name, and discover his
Twitch.
past. White Book only made minimal changes to the gameplay while increasing the total number of demons to over 3.
By the way, if you haven't checked out the Twitch channel, there are certain things that we react to over on Twitch that we don't on YouTube for copyright. We might watch Persona Trinity Souls.
That could now be powered up through attachments.
So
that added
prepare
helpful abilities both in and
prepare
out of
yourself
battle.
for that. Apparently,
That said, there was a limit to how many could be equipped at a time. Fusion was also greatly expanded, allowing Masaki to use normal racial fusion, pure fusion, and mixed
Racial
blood
fusion?
along with
Hey,
new
that's me.
infrared fusion. This used the Game Boy Color's infrared sensor, having players pointed at an infrared light during the fusion process. It was mainly the same as racial fusion, but the resulting demon would be transformed into a higher
prepare a
level
pillow
one
for
of its
Persona
race.
Trinity Souls.
White Book was generally seen as an improvement over the
Oh,
original,
no.
though some critics noted the difficulty of the early game. While White Book didn't have a companion version, it wasn't the only Devil Children game to release that day.
Someone told me there was a Persona 3 character in it, and that if I'm doing Persona stuff, I should probably take a look at that.
And the trading card game was eventually adapted into a video game, Shin Megami Tensei Trading Card Card Summoner. What's truly strange, though,
There's
is
a
that this
card one,
wasn't an
too?
adaptation of the Devil Children card game, as it used traditional artwork from the main series and referenced characters from that. The game plays
Okay, technically they're also copying off. This is literally Pokemon, the trading card game for the Game Boy.
Challenging others along the way and
The
earning
exact
valuable
same
cards
premise.
or money to purchase booster packs. Amazingly, there are 3 different endings to the game, following the usual law, chaos,
course.
and neutral dichotomy.
Of course,
The
even
rules
in
revolve around 4 card types.
even in these games, there's like choices to your ending. It's insane. It's unhinged.
Of characters from across the series, magic that represents spells from the series, and items that take the form of tools or weapons. The goal is to eliminate the opponent's HP in the same vein as Yu-Gi-Oh! However, most cards' abilities can't be utilized without Magnetite, which comes in 5 varieties, and are necessary to summon demons, cast magic, or use
Persona
items.
Trinity Soul is
Think of them
alright,
like the
but
energy
definitely would
cards from
benefit from a
Pokemon, though
remake.
Here, Magnetite is either emitted from a demon or partner, or can be gathered by sacrificing your own HP. And that's pretty much all there is to it, as the game is virtually unknown in the West. but that's to be expected as Shin Megami Tensei
was thinking
content
more
hadn't gotten
Yu-Gi-Oh
even remotely popular
than
yet,
the
with only
Pokemon
a scant
TCG.
few games getting localized.
I just mean
But
the
next
overall
generation
setup of
Devil
the
Children
Pokemon
games would see a
TCG
Western release
or the
a full
story
year after
of that
the
game
Japanese
is
one.
you're playing the
Devil Children
Pokemon
Light
card
and
game
Dark version were
based on
localized
the
as Shin
Pokemon
Megami
game.
Tensei Demi-Kids Light and Dark, marking the first time the Shin Megami Tensei moniker was used in the West. The games focus on a new set of kids, Jin and Akira, who find a strange book in the library. This turns out to be the Demon Compendium, and after reading an incantation from it,
They find a strange book in the library. It turns out to be a Demon Compendium.
by a transfer student named Lena,
You know, type shit, stuff that happens between kids in the when you're growing
to
up.
battle a villain known as Imperius, while Akira is summoned by Lucifer to the realm of Rem to close the portals that have begun appearing in the human world. They essentially work in opposite order.
This is a kid's game, by the way.
Akira's journey in the dark version to be slightly more difficult. Otherwise, not much has changed since the Game Boy Color games, besides the graphical upgrades afforded by the Game Boy Advance. Gameplay is mostly the same, and once again, fusion mechanics are different between versions.
Okay.
But for the most part, it's the same game with a new story and characters. Although it reviewed about the same in Japan, Western critics were less kind, calling the story uninteresting, while the combat was seen as slow and unbalanced. There were also complaints that it suffered from poor graphics and repetitive music.
Damn.
Due to the reception and poor Western sales, these would remain the only Devil Children games released outside of Japan. But the next release was a complete oddity, as it was one of the few Japanese exclusive games on the original Xbox. Shin Megami Tensei 9
Oh yeah, I heard about this game.
And was
I heard about this game.
originally meant to be a lead-in for an eventual MMO RPG. While the MMO based on 9 never came to be, the concept of a Shin Megami Tensei MMO did come to pass eventually. But 9 failed to live up to expectations, which isn't surprising considering how horrendously the Xbox did in Japan.
Yeah.
There just wasn't enough of a player base to justify the creation of an MMO. The title of 9 references the possible alignments when playing the game. Law, chaos, and neutral are there, of course, but these are further developed by light, dark, and neutral paths.
It was a weird time in MMOs back in the day, especially Japanese MMOs, like Phantasy Star and this, for example. There's just a dude laying in the ground. But
and it was set during the second half of Shin Megami
yeah, it's
Tensei
just like
and the lead-up to
console-based
Shin Megami
MMOs
Tensei
back
2.
then were just like
As the
weird
apocalypse
because you
has
need a
forced
network
humanity
adapter.
into
Just like
underground
ain't nobody
bunkers,
trying to get all that
many
shit.
People spend their time in a virtual world known as the Idea Space, which is modeled after 90s era Tokyo. However, glitches known as noise begin taking the form of demons and attacking the user base. And this is a problem because, like any good online world, any damage inflicted virtually is reflected in reality.
Oh.
Kay is soon recruited into a team
It's like
in this
Sword Art
world
Online, you
to hunt
guys.
noise and discover what's causing them. 9 represented a lot of firsts for the series. It was the first Shin Megami Tensei in 3D, as Maken X was a spin-off, and it was the first time a game was explorable from the third-person perspective rather than first-person or an isometric view. Players could also determine Kay's skin and hair color, while different shops around Tokyo allowed for even more clothing and hairstyle
Oh, there's a
options.
Jack Frost that
Combat
runs a
was where the game
store.
struggled, as it opted for a real-time system, though players had little input. It was possible to command certain action when a
Yo,
character
the animations on that
but
death.
otherwise, there were a few options beyond telling them to be offensive or defensive. Some have compared it to an early version of Final Fantasy XII's combat, though it lacked an equivalent to the Gambit system to allow for further customization. But combat isn't really encouraged, as no
See,
experience
y'all were
is
talking about an open world. Why Atlas don't do open world games? This was an open world MMO. People didn't like it.
Really, fights are more useful as a method of recruiting demons through the usual conversations, and naturally demons can be fused together to become more powerful. The twist on this comes in the form of the Kilo Devil values that the player has. If they only have 100 Kilo Devils, they can only summon 2 50 Kilo Devil demons or 4.
Although an open world setting in like a fictional Japanese like city, Tokyo and stuff like Tokyo, Shibuya and all
While the
that.
game was generally well
Sounds
received
cool.
by those who played it, there just weren't a lot of people playing, ultimately resulting in a financial loss for Atlas. But it was only 3 months later, in February of 2003, that their fortunes turned around.
Oh, you guys, this is the game that we're going to be playing. This is a game that's going to make me mad and hate the Shin Megami Tensei series.
Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne was the first new mainline entry in the series since If, 8 years ago. And rather than continue from where Shin Megami Tensei 2 left off, it was decided to start fresh with the contemporary aesthetic of the original Shin Megami Tensei rather than the science fiction feel of 2. The use of the subtitle Nocturne was meant to help emphasize this.
Okay.
The team also built off the lessons they had learned while making Persona, Majin Tensei, and Devil Summoner to evolve the base Shin Megami Tensei gameplay. The cast of characters was kept purposefully small with the
go
team going
hard difficulty or
demons
go
they
home.
recruit. Even Lucifer
Do
was
you
designed
want me to
more
not
trusting
play the
observer
game?
rather than an outright villain, making the right decision less clear and more open to interpretation.
I would
The
literally
story focuses on a
literally
young man who
die
arrives in Tokyo to
in
visit a
real
friend
life.
in the hospital. While there, he hears of a clash between
Yo,
two
but the main
rival
character looked
cults.
kind of scuffed,
One
not
of the
gonna lie.
cultists attempts to kill him, but he's saved by his
That
friend
hairstyle is
and
not
taken to
good.
the hospital roof, where the pair witness the apocalypse.
No,
in
I would
the
just
form of
die
a
on stream.
conception.
Like when the
This
main
leaves
character
Tokyo
dies,
with
I
a
will
bubble
literally
known as
die
the
in the
Vortex
real
World
world.
that's awaiting the next stage of its
Because
existence.
nothing is worse
While
than
demons
progression
wage war
lost in
on
a
one another,
JRPG.
and deities attempt to remake the world in their image. The young man is infused with a Magatama by Lucifer, transforming him into the Demi-Fiend, a being with the heart of a human.
So it seems like they're going a little bit into the story. So for Persona 3, when he goes into that, I'm going to skip it because I don't want to know anything.
World to discover his own power and decide the fate of everyone. Rather than the ending being only decided by following law, chaos, or neutral paths, the Demi-Fiend can ally himself with several factions that want to see the world reborn in different ways. It's also possible to choose no faction, and this doesn't even include the extra endings that were added to later re-releases. Like 9, Nocturne retains a third-person viewpoint whether exploring dungeons or engaging in battle, and it's here that one of the major hallmarks of battles in future games is introduced, the press turn system. Actions, whether a normal attack, a skill, using an item, or conversing with demons, always take one turn. However, if a character gets a critical hit, strikes the opponent's weakness, or simply passes, another turn is made available to them, making it possible to lay into an enemy before they can do much else, especially once their weaknesses are known.
So kind of like a baton pass?
Can be lost if an attack misses or is blocked. The tactic isn't exclusive to the player either, as enemies can utilize press turn as well. It emphasizes character strengths and weaknesses more than ever while expanding upon tactical options. Otherwise, the Demi-Fiend is always the only human in the party, with him able to take 3 active demons into battle, while 5 more can be held on standby to swap in, though it is possible to increase.
So you just have,
both the Demi-Fiend and
instead of having like a party member, you have personas.
Random stat gains to the demons, while players choose which stats get enhanced for the Demi-Fiend.
Or shadows or
These
demons or
stats are
whatever
also
they're
affected
called
by
here.
which Magatama the Demi-Fiend has equipped. Depending on which is used, these will unlock new skills, grant passive buffs and
Press
debuffs,
turn system is
and sometimes
Pokemon
cause
type
other
advantage,
effects.
but
While
hardcore.
recruiting demons remains the same, Nocturne was also the introduction of the Demon Compendium, which registered a list of demons players obtained and allowed them to resummon them for a fee. This was also
Compendium is in here.
Shin Megami Tensei's
A luchador is also in here.
Bolstered by the success of mature titles like Grand Theft Auto, the localization team decided to translate it as faithfully as possible. Even being given design documents by the development side to ensure accuracy.
I bought the Steam version. Is that a good version to play?
And the West. Some critics noted a lack of polish in some areas graphically and how difficult the game could be, but the unique setting and darker storyline made it stand out from other RPGs at the time. Many Western publications not only nominated it for RPG of the Year, but as one of the best games of the year. Nocturne also marked the first time mainline Shin Megami Tensei was brought to the West, and is likely why the 3 was dropped for the title. Its success is also why Shin Megami Tensei was used as the moniker for the series for a long time, even when it wasn't used in Japan, such as with the upcoming digital Devil Saga and Persona 3. So, after this massive success, naturally the next game released in the series was a puzzle game in the Devil Children franchise.
Ooh, okay.
Granted, it's not like this was planned, but Devil Children Puzzle to Call released in July of 2003 as a spin-off taking place after the events of Light and Dark. The story is kept simple as the protagonists from the previous game, Jin and Akira, are sucked into an alternate world, and it's up to their demon partners to rescue them.
That looks so goofy.
Is modeled after a Sokoban puzzler, where blocks have to be pushed to specific points in order to move on. However, Puzzle to Call is more about reaching a destination as marked by a pentagram.
Oh no,
Eggs
that
can also be found in each level, which unlock more demons to switch between and utilize their inherent strengths. There are also boss fights where players have to dodge attacks while reaching all the pentagrams on the screen. The game is generally considered fine, if not incredibly average.
Oh no.
2 months later, the final mainline Devil Children game released in Japan, Firebook and Icebook. This once again brings back the cast of Light and Dark.
Wait, do they have
Jin and Akira
guns?
must contend with the sudden appearance of towers in the city that lead to the demon and angel realms. This causes an outbreak of fighting between the two sides, potentially triggering the apocalypse. The two must find out what's happening while also saving
Jesus,
their friends,
there's so much
as one heads
stakes
into
in
the
this
demon realm
children's
and the
game.
other into the angel realm.
For SMT3 on Steam, you might want to get a music mod because the music is
It's possible
compressed.
for Jin or Akira to take part in battle through the use of cards. These can increase their negotiation chances, prevent status effects, or increase the power of attacks, although only one can be used per battle. The cards can be bought in shops.
I'm not gonna lie.
And awarded from battles.
These creatures, they're
Demon
kind of
fusion was
disgusting.
also made a little clearer, allowing players to see the parameters of the fusion so that their partner can be shaped as they see fit. Finally, it's possible to connect with Light and Dark to obtain demons that were exclusive to those games. Whether these changes improve the games is hard to say, as its Famitsu review score was lower than Light and Dark. The ripples of Shin Megami Tensei 3's success in the West
His
finally
Atlas
took
was
form with
OG
Shin Megami Tensei
clickbait
Digital
before
Devil
clickbait was
Saga,
made.
or Digital Devil
True.
Saga Avatar Tuner in Japan. This PlayStation 2 subseries was built off of Nocturne's engine, but broke away from many of the series' traditions. The biggest of which was the complete removal of demon negotiation and demon fusion.
Okay,
It
then
also
what do they
doesn't take
have?
place in the present day or apocalyptic future. Instead, it's set in a dystopian wasteland known as the Junkyard that takes inspiration from Hindu mythology and architecture. 6 tribes rule the territory of the Junkyard, with the only common ground being the Great Tower in the center where the Karma Society rules from. This
Okay.
balance is thrown into chaos when a white light causes everyone in the Junkyard to be branded with an Atma and awaken to demonic powers. But this has the side effect of awakening an insatiable hunger. If the people of Junkyard don't devour their foes, then they can go berserk.
Tell me in
However,
chat.
an amnesiac woman named Sarah is capable of calming their hunger. by
None of these
singing,
games are
and she's
connected in any way, right?
non-tribe.
Outside of just them having persona or
He and
the
the other
same
leaders are
monsters in
summoned
them,
by the
right?
Karma Society and told that they must conquer the other tribes, then ascend the tower if they want to reach Nirvana. This sets off a war where Surf must discover Sarah's origins, survive the other tribes, and discover just what Nirvana is. Digital Devil Saga builds off the battle system of Shin Megami Tensei 3, including the returning press turn system. But rather than recruit and fuse demons, the characters can transform into them, creating what's known as avatars.
Oh, it's like remember in Digimon when they could become Digimon instead of just have them? That was kind of dope. I guess that's
As a
cool.
replacement for demon fusion, the game introduces mantra grids. This works somewhat like Final Fantasy X Sphere Grid, except there are several linear paths.
Mason, what did you ask me, bro? What's my favorite bug plug? That's really an important answer that needs to be
Players
answered.
can choose any path for the party, making for plenty of customization. However, the mantra grid
None,
utilizes
I
two
guess?
currencies. One is the
Is that
actual
a valid
currency, which
answer?
buys the
It's a
different
little bit of a
skills along the
cop-out.
grid, but to master and
It's
use
just
them, players will
Persona,
spend Atma
and
points,
even
which are naturally
their
earned from battle along with experience points.
even
Atma
their
points can also be earned by devouring enemies, though this can't be done too
anthologies,
often. If a character gets a
Double
stomachache
Digital
from eating, they'll
Saga,
have to deal
Persona
with a
2 are
debilitating status effect.
okay.
There are also linkage abilities where characters can combine skills to create a bigger attack. The localization even attempted to match the Japanese cast of well-known
But
voice
generally
actors
on their
by
own.
casting
Okay.
equally well-known English actors and attempting to better sync the dialogue with characters' lip movements. It was a big deal.
I
as
like
this was
the
first
old
time the
art
series
style
featured extensive
better because
voice
it
acting.
makes it look
The game
unique.
was well received both in Japan and
Is that
the
a
West,
white guy
many
with
enjoyed the
dreads? Oh
shift away
no.
from Shin Megami Tensei's usual tropes. Many did note that it could feel repetitious and were frustrated by its cliffhanger ending. Thankfully, fans wouldn't have to wait for long for the conclusion. Before that though, one final game in the Devil Children series was released on the Game Boy Advance in 2004, a spin-off known as Messiah Riser. This would see the return of Jin and Akira as they work to protect Valhalla from the return of the Imperium. To do this, they must
Yo,
find
bro, how's
stones
your
used by a
day?
legendary
Hey, what's going on,
Messiah
Cry
to seal
Mikey? My
away the
day is
ancient
doing
demon
good
that
so
now
far,
rules
or
the
my
Imperium.
night, I should say. It's
The
like
story
12
is
a.m.
relatively
here.
straightforward,
My
but
morning,
what's truly
Jesus.
unique is the fact that this is a real-time
But
strategy.
yeah, we're just vibing,
It's
talking about
nothing too
Persona and
complex, as each
SMT.
demon only has a normal attack and a magic skill. Jin and Akira must travel the field of battle and summon demons, the amount of which is dictated by a cost. The two boys have a total pool of points with which to summon demons, and each demon subtracts from that total. More points can be earned during battle by finding special orbs, though the point total reverts to normal after each battle.
Yeah, I'm sleep on this game.
With the enemy demons, they can still be
Why does the
by
frame
placing
rate
one
look so
hidden
bad
or
on
hero's
this?
Demons on the soul of the defeated enemy.
They're
before it
moving so
disappears.
slow.
Using a demon of the same element grants a greater chance of success. Unsurprisingly, these demons can be fused together for stronger varieties. It's also possible to trade 10 of the same demon for a more powerful one in towns. While a unique concept for the Game Boy Advance, critics found the interface clunky to use, the combat options too limited, and the AI a bit chaotic. But this marked the end of Shin Megami Tensei attempting to appeal to kids, with every game after it aiming for an older fanbase. And that fanbase wanted to see how the story of Digital Devil Saga 2
Did you watch Black Clover? How do you think it was 1 to 10? I think Black Clover is a solid 8. It's a good shonen anime. I have a controversial opinion. I think it's probably one of the best newish gen animes. I'm not talking about like Jujutsu Kaisen and them. I'm talking about My Hero. I think it does good things.
Which happens randomly and can be seen as the opposite of an ambush, as it offers an advantage to the party. Characters begin as a half demon, unable to contain their power, with a massive boost to their attack and critical hit rate. However, this also lowers their defense and accuracy, creating a high-risk, high-reward situation. The mantra grid was also changed to a series of hexes where any skill mastered unlocks the mantras directly next to it, making it possible to learn later spells before earlier ones. There's also the karma ring system,
you gotta
which allows
go. I'm
characters
sorry.
to equip accessory-like rings that not only boost stats, but can be further
One Piece
enhanced with
rating?
gems that grant different advantages, such as starting
One
battles
Piece.
with the boss.
One Piece is like a 9 out of 10 for me.
Stats do not carry over from the first game and are instead reset, though having a previous save file does provide some stats.
Gave me a sub. Thank you so much, Prime Mikey.
Also affect how characters
And talking about anime, I have an anime reaction channel. If you haven't if you haven't seen it already, I highly suggest you check it out. We just uploaded episode 5 of
on the PS2,
Solo, or episode 4 of Solo Leveling, I think.
It does attempt to summarize what happened in the first game, but it's generally recommended to play the first before starting this, especially as the story comes to a satisfying
Ooh, a black character.
Moving to 2006,
And also, why the fuck would I play 2 before I play 1?
After a 9-year gap from the release of Soul Hackers, though in a much different form. Devil Summoner Raido Kuzunoha vs. the Soulless Army was the first Shin Megami Tensei
That's a
game to be
name?
set in the past, specifically an alternate version of Japan's Taisho period in the 1930s. The player takes the role of the titular Raido Kuzunoha, a title passed down to Devil Summoners.
How do I make my thumbnails? I just normally just use Photoshop.
He joins the Narumi Detective Agency. One day, the agency is approached by a high schooler who asks them to kill her. Before they can learn more, soldiers in red armor
Took me just look up some tutorials about how to use Photoshop, and it's pretty quick to grasp.
The setting isn't the only change to the series, as Raido Kuzunoha is an action RPG. That doesn't mean random battles are
Yo, this game looks sick. Oh, it's an action RPG? Okay.
This isn't something like Kingdom Hearts or Devil May Cry though. Sword combos are kept to a minimum, but Raido is also equipped with a gun that can fire different elemental bullets. This plays into demon weaknesses, allowing for a little more strategy. It's
This game
also
is
possible
sick.
to have one demon out at a time,
Alright.
which mainly fights on its own.
Oh, he has a
basic
gun
orders
too. He
can
has
be
a
given.
blick.
This
Oh,
demon
my
can be
favorite
swapped out
persona,
with others
Ukobach.
whenever, though, to best take advantage of elemental weaknesses. Demon negotiations have been removed, as demons are instead captured by finding their weak point and stunning them. Fusion is possible.
So it's
but
literally
demons
like
must have a certain
Pokemon.
amount of loyalty to
Okay.
Raido, which is increased through
But
use in
again,
battle.
Power World's the only one that took an
Also
inspiration from
expands demons' capabilities
Pokemon.
during fights, unlocking combo attacks with
And
Raido's sword
Pokemon
or
is
gun.
the most original
Fusion
IP
isn't
ever.
limited to combining demons either, as they can also be fused with Raido's sword to make it even stronger.
Okay.
But demons have more uses than simply fighting. They can be summoned at any time, each with their own special abilities, such as enraging people so they accidentally reveal clues,
Okay.
reading people's minds.
Yo, this is like a detective game?
The demons can also just talk to the people of Tokyo simply to see their reactions. Unfortunately, the Soulless Army's encounter rate is about as high as past games, which can cause frustration as Raido hunts for a specific item. This basically boils down to interrogating everyone possible, trying demon powers on them, and seeing what happens until progress is unlocked.
Okay.
Having that interrupted by constant battles can lead to frustration, but critics noted that the pace of those fights are rather quick. Other criticisms include the lack of voice acting and visuals that seem
Oh, there's no
lesser than the
voice
series'
acting?
other PS2 offerings up to that point. Outside of this, many found the change in direction appealing and the story strong. However, the next game was a hallmark of the franchise.
Okay.
Shin Megami Tensei 3 might have begun the series' revolution in the West, but this cemented it.
Okay. We gotta skip it. Rido's a cool guy. Just in case he spoils anything about
Persona
3, I'm not
released
trying
in
to
July
hear
of
it.
2006 in Japan and marked a major shift in direction of the series. In April of 2007, Atlus tried one more time at creating an MMO based on Shin Megami Tensei.
Oh, Atlus was going
Nine
bankrupt
failed
at
to
the
happen
time?
on the Xbox. But for Shin Megami Tensei,
What kind of
Imagine on the PC,
music do I
the team
listen
worked with a new
to?
subsidiary
Mostly
of
rap.
developer Cave, known as Cave Online. This partnership took inspiration from South Korean MMOs at the time, as well as past games.
Oh no,
across the
not another
series. The
MMO.
result was a free-to-play MMO that met great success and even stayed active in the West until 2014, with Japanese servers staying active
hell is
until
this?
2016. Story-wise, much like 9, Imagine takes place between Shin Megami Tensei 1 and 2 and continues on from the original game's neutral ending. It's all mostly window dressing though, as the game maintains a self-contained narrative. After the apocalypse,
Okay.
the survivors of Tokyo now live in Shinjuku Babel, where people known as Demon Busters protect the population. from
Demon
demons.
Busters.
However, 3 great obelisks have appeared, leading to an investigation and the rise of a conflict between the Order of Messiah, who follow the Great
I'm trying to
One,
bust on
and the
some
Ring of
demons,
Gaia, who
succubus.
follow Lucifer,
He can get
with
it.
the story shifting depending on player decisions, leading to the usual law, chaos, and neutral routes. In terms of gameplay, Shinjuku Babel serves as the home
Yo, look at
base,
this
where players
dude.
can accept quests, buy and swap equipment, and shop for other items. While most items could be bought with in-game currency, this was a free-to-play MMO, so higher-tier equipment was available for real money. Exploration could be done either alone or with a party, though groups were obviously recommended for more difficult sections. The combat takes place in real time, with there being 3 main classes: a short-range melee, a long-range melee, and a magic.
Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at it
Magic
later.
can be further subdivided into attackers, healers.
I remember
and supporters,
Toontown.
thanks to the specialization
Game was
points.
peak back then,
However,
yeah.
These points were limited, so it was recommended to stick to one.
I can never get Toontown to work on my
Key
parents'
aspects of
computer.
Combat involved countering and guarding against demon attacks, most of which could be repelled with good timing. Player attacks were
But
executed
Wizard
via
101, that was my
mouse or
jam.
shortcuts. Demon negotiation is present as
Yo,
well.
the frame
though it's
rate.
more limited and more difficult than past games. Allocating points toward the talk skill is almost a necessity, as it opens up more recruitment options such as bribery. But if a player is able to get demons on their side, they can have one active in battle with each demon.
Yo,
earning
I'm not gonna lie, this
experience.
MMO looks boneless
They
as
mostly
fuck.
operated on their own,
Not
though
gonna
some
lie.
direct commands could be
Just
given
like
by
the drip on the
Caring
character.
for demons was also a necessity, as they were more
Fucking
likely to do better in
Gandalf?
battle and agree to a fusion.
Who's
The
that?
game proved to be quite popular, garnering a player base of 100,000 people in Japan during its open beta, and eventually becoming one of the country's leading online games. Critics generally enjoyed the game's plot and more involved combat compared to other free MMOs, though many thought the game looked dated. That said, the English version was notably inferior thanks to poor management on the part of Nexon,
Damn.
with multiple big patches never coming west, including PvP. What made that exclusion especially galling to players was its entrance was right next to the tutorial mission exit. The game's servers were kept online for 9 years, only stopping due to the increased difficulties in maintaining a quality experience. While Imagine was successful, 2008's release of Persona 4 could be seen as the true turning point that Persona 3 began. Building off of and refining the life sim elements of the previous game, Persona 4 featured a new transfer student who arrives in the rural town of Inaba while his parents work abroad. During
Okay.
the year, he stays with his uncle while attending Yasogami High School.
Yeah,
He soon
Dojima,
becomes
your
friends
mother's
with two
younger
other
brother.
students, Yosuke and Chie, who tell him the new urban legend of the Midnight Channel. If you stare at a blank TV on a rainy night at midnight, then a strange figure will appear. The protagonist tries it himself and eventually learns that not only do the people who appear on TV eventually show up dead in the real world, but that he can enter the TV. Upon investigating further, the group learns that anyone who enters the TV world must confront their true selves, and if they can't accept the harsh reality, then they'll wind up dead. However, by accepting themselves, they can awaken to their personas.
I would
and
accept
in
my
turn,
true self
rescue whoever
in
ends
an
up the
instant.
TV world, or
Give me a
try to
persona
discover
right
the
away.
true culprit.
I don't care how
One of the goals
embarrassing
of
it
Persona
is.
4 was to ensure it didn't feel like a retread of Persona 3. To accomplish this, the developers wanted to give players a definite
As the
goal
best
and
anime.
set
Stop talking about the
purpose throughout
pachinko
the
machines.
The murder mystery plot served as the best way to accomplish that, but it also had the effect of making
Why are the
characters stronger
pachinkos
than
going
ever
so
before,
hard?
as character growth is inherently developed as each party member awakens to their persona. Another key element of this effort to avoid a retread was the weather system.
No, I wouldn't. I
which
would
affects
definitely
certain
do it.
social
I have no
behavior as
shame.
well as the Midnight Channel itself.
My
It
worst
also denotes
secret
the
is
amount of
just
time
like
players have
nothing
left to
that
save the
I
current
kind
game.
of
If the dungeon
am a
is
little bit of a
completely timed,
sociopath
then it'll be
sometimes.
game over. In addition, the social link system not only included people from around town, as in Persona 3,
My inner self
but
would be
male party members as
Yosuke's
well,
inner
instead of
self.
just the female ones. They were notable exclusions, and their addition was needed due to the changes to social link rewards. Fusion bonuses returned as before, but increasing the social link with a party member expanded their abilities, allowing for a follow-up attack or granting extra skills for battle. Maxing their social link also caused their persona to evolve
Persona
into a
4 would
stronger
hit different
form.
if someone
Time
had a
passes
sus
in much the
internet
same way as
history.
Persona 3, though options have been expanded and more time is available to hang out with different people. It's no longer possible to lose
You
progress
saw
with social
two
links,
girls in
but
one
the social
cup,
attributes
and
have
you
been expanded
enjoyed
to
it.
include understanding, diligence,
That's not
courage,
true.
knowledge, and expression.
That didn't happen.
Certain levels are needed for activities or to further social links like before. The dungeons are randomized once again, but rather than one central tower, there are multiple small dungeons themed to a character's shadow personality. The party also no longer gets tired within dungeons. Instead, the amount of magic is limited, making it naturally more difficult as more time
What
is
app
spent
do I
in
use
the
for
dungeon.
thumbnails?
Players can really only
Photoshop.
go as far as their restoration items allow, as there's no full heal option within. The dungeons can be
But Photoshop is a
invisible,
paid
allowing players to earn more experience
is a
or
paid
recoup more
program. So
personas.
if you don't want
These
to
are
pay
still
for
earned through
anything,
shuffle
use
time, though
GIMP.
experience and money bonuses are
GIMP.
now labeled Arcana chances.
It's just like Photoshop,
Otherwise,
except
Persona
it's free.
Fusion works exactly the same. This also applies to battles, with the major exception
You're a
being the player
furry,
having
just
full
admit it.
control of the party. These
Nah,
changes,
that's the one thing I
nature
wouldn't
of the
admit to.
setting and the strong characters made for an even more well-received game than Persona 3. While some noted that it was more of a refinement of what that game established, it was still seen as a marked improvement. Strong word of mouth led to even greater sales, with the game remaining Amazon's top-selling game on PlayStation 2 for 2 weeks in a row.
Damn.
As before, the style and music became a favorite, while particularly
People were ordering this off of Amazon.
Kanji, who's seen as one of the first video game characters to struggle with their sexual orientation. However, there are some gay panic moments from another character in relation to this that has drawn ire in retrospect.
Okay, I'm skipping this because I only made it up to kanji.
Summoner Raito Kuzunoha vs. King Abaddon, which continued the adventures of the 14th Devil Summoner to bear the name.
I'm
A
sorry?
new danger brings Raito back to Tokyo, where a young woman asked him to find her brother as he abandoned their village in protest of her arranged marriage. But upon taking this case, Raito soon learns about a group known as the Tento Lords, the mysterious King Abaddon, and a horde of insects that have begun murdering innocent civilians.
They
While the
literally
game is
look
still an
like
action
insects.
RPG, many complaints about the original were taken into consideration to improve upon it. Random battles are still present, but this no longer applies to town areas. This means players can safely interview townsfolk without needing to worry about getting drawn into needless fights. Demons can still be used to obtain information, but the process of recruiting those demons has changed to the more traditional negotiation system. It's also possible to summon 2 demons at once rather than
Ooh,
the single
2
demon
demons
of
at
the previous
once.
game.
The processing
Attempt to bring
power.
the series more in line with classic Shin Megami Tensei elements, and this included Raito's alignment and the multiple possible endings. Overall, the game improved upon its base gameplay, making combat quicker and more action-oriented with a larger field to battle on. Most of the systems in the original
This
game
seems
are
like
still
my
here
type of
with minor
game.
improvements done to all of them. Critics generally enjoyed Raito's second outing, but some missed the more focused plot of the original rather than the multiple endings introduced here. It was also the last Devil Summoner game in the sub-series, at least until the announcement of Soul Hackers 2.
What?
But one ending leads to another beginning, as the next title was the start of a new sub-series.
What the hell's Amara? Okay. This music sounds like The World Ends With You.
Roku Devil Survivor, which was given the same moniker as the original Persona to
Oh, so
likewise
this is the
market
one that
as
you're
part of
talking
the
about,
franchise, but a
Devil
different
Survivor.
take, released only 2 months later in January of 2009. As had been the case, the West simply kept it as Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor to maintain brand recognition. The DS game stood apart from what came before by taking
It's a
place in
DS
modern
game?
Tokyo, specifically during a quarantine where people have been cut off from their family and homes. It gives the sense that it takes place as the apocalypse happens rather than before or after. The story focuses on the protagonist and his two friends who are given a device known as a comp by his older cousin.
Yeah, a DS?
While trying to figure out what the comps do, an outbreak of demons forces the Japanese government to quarantine the city.
Who does this art
denying
style? This
food,
art style
power,
is
and
mad
communication
familiar.
inside. This survivor mentality gives rise to vigilantes who attempt to fight the demons while preying on
You
the
know,
weak.
you will,
Now, the
you know,
protagonist and
you
his
will know
friends must
soon.
survive the
You will know
situation,
Mara
learn the source of the demon
greatness.
outbreak, and protect each other as best as they can. This is aided by the protagonist's comp, which has a kind of death clock feature, allowing him to see a literal number over a person's head, showing how long a person has left to live. Even
Yeah,
still,
okay.
everyone
They
within
did
the quarantine
Cyber
will
Sleuth.
die in
Okay,
7
thank
days
you.
if something isn't done. In terms of gameplay, it can be best described as a hybrid of visual novels and strategy RPGs, though with some unique ideas of its own.
Okay.
The 7-day time limit is key, and every event viewed moves the clock forward 30 minutes. It will eventually funnel players toward a key battle, but the decisions of the player in terms of who to talk to and when make those choices much more vital.
Okay.
What you decide to focus on will lead to one of several endings, but the battles are where it differs greatly from many other strategy RPGs. While it still focuses on a grid-based map, only 4 characters can be used at a time, and each represents a team. There's the character themselves and 2 demons. What this ends up meaning is each team is their own Shin Megami Tensei party, and they can be moved around the map to fight other teams. However, each member of a team can also utilize one extra action separate from moving or attacking, whether that's limiting enemy movement or granting buffs and healing to the party. The actual combat plays out more like a typical RPG battle, with 3 on each side. Each character and demon has their own sets of moves that they choose, and like the press turn system, an extra turn can be granted for hitting weaknesses or getting a critical hit.
Okay.
After all 6 participants use their initial move, the ones with extra turns get their second hit, but no more can be obtained in that round. There's also strategy in who you target during battle. The team leader is always in the center and takes less damage compared to the flanking allies. However, if the leader is defeated, the battle ends immediately. It can lead to a decisive victory, but it also limits how much experience and money can be earned. Oftentimes, it's better to defeat flanking enemies first, and that's especially true when it comes to the skill crack system and how it applies to abilities.
Devil Summoner
Has
is
7
peak
abilities
strategy
in total.
RPG
3
gameplay is
active skills
intense.
that amount to combat options, 3 passive skills that grant bonuses
I don't
or
know.
remove weaknesses, and a final skill that's determined either by the demon's race or a chosen squad buff for the human.
Along
Demons
with,
naturally
I
lose
haven't played that many like strategy RPGs. I tried to
but for
play
humans,
Fire Emblem.
in each battle, enemies will have
I might
certain skills
revisit
that are
Fire
able to be
Emblem
obtained
eventually,
from the
but
team's use. The player
something
assigns a
wasn't
character
clicking
to
with
that
me.
skill, and if the character
I gotta
succeeds
figure
in
that out
defeating an enemy
myself.
with it, it will be available in the skill pool. From here, every human can be customized to play exactly as the player desires. And like other Shin Megami Tensei games, the other characters have stats that level automatically, while the player chooses how stat points are distributed for the protagonist. The final difference in gameplay is in regard to the demon auction, which is where new demons are obtained. Here, players will have to outbid other people to obtain the demon they want. Devil Survivor was generally well regarded by critics, with special praise given to the unique battle mechanics, though the battles themselves were labeled as too simple. It stood out from other strategy RPGs at the time, and some found it to be a sizable step up from the Majin Tensei strategy games. It was the 3rd best-selling game in Japan on the week of its release, and would even receive an enhanced version on the 3DS.
Ooh, I want to see what the 3DS version looks like.
To release on the DS in 2009, and unlike Devil Survivor, Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey was part of the main
Demonic
series.
eBay.
However, it is completely separate from the storylines of the previous games, opting to appeal to an international audience and take inspiration from a different genre of science fiction. The story takes place in Antarctica, where an atomic collapse suddenly occurs. This creates the Schwarzverse, a black void that envelops anything it touches and threatens to eventually engulf the planet. As part of a UN task force, the protagonist must enter the Schwarzverse, keep the demons within at bay, and discover why.
Not me hearing new demons as nude demons.
Taking a page from Etrian Odyssey and co-developed by its
I'll take a nude
creators,
demon.
The game returns dungeon exploration to a first-person perspective, with the top screen showing the environment while the bottom displays the layout. This map also adds highlights for unopened containers and doors, though there are traps to be wary of. Pits, shifting floors, and dangerous tiles
I
can damage
mean,
the player while exploring.
That sounds like what that Devil Summoner game is, essentially just like digital
allowing
demons.
it to eventually open new pathways and revisit past areas for rewards. Battles are kept mostly the same as before, though the returning press turn system is augmented by the demon co-op system. With this, if the player hits an opponent's weakness, any allied demon in their party matching their alignment will follow up with a heavy unblockable attack. Demon Negotiation and Demon Fusion return, of course, with alignments playing heavily in regard to which demons.
So this feels like basically Space Marines plus Persona.
The gameplay was balanced while still retaining the traditional challenge of a Shin Megami Tensei. Fusion was made faster and skill adherence easier in order to encourage experimentation, while the ability to determine how the protagonist's stats were distributed.
It seems like every SMT/Persona game made past 2000 is a game that I'm interested in taking a look at to some extent.
Had to be shifted, as these weren't normal people experiencing these events, but special forces. While it was widely believed that the game would have been called Shin Megami Tensei 4 if not for the Antarctic setting, that was eventually proven untrue. Strange Journey was always considered a spin-off, but many on the promotional staff thought it was strong enough to be labeled 4, and that sentiment was echoed by critics. At the time of its release, this was the highest rated Shin Megami Tensei game ever in Famitsu with a 36 out of 40. Many praised the exploration and tension established by the setting, though battles were seen as the biggest weakness. It was considered pretty standard save for the Demon Fusion, which helped maintain variety. Opinions on the plot ran the gamut, with some finding it meaty while others thought it was unoriginal but absorbing. Unfortunately, the game sold less than expected in Japan, though it too eventually saw an enhanced port to the 3DS. The next game wouldn't arrive until 2011 and took on a much different genre than the series had seen before. Catherine was Atlus's first game on HD systems, and it combined
Catherine, this
with
game.
a puzzle platformer to create something incredibly unique.
I want to play this game, but it's a puzzle game, and
But there are Easter eggs
I
to the rest
suck
of the
at
franchise
puzzle
plenty.
games.
Vincent cameoed in the PlayStation Portable version of Persona 3, and most importantly, the presence of Law and Chaos along with certain deities. There are enough connections to make it feel like the same universe, even without the Easter eggs. As for the story, it focuses on the character of Vincent, a 32-year-old man with no ambitions who has begun to feel pressure from his longtime girlfriend, Catherine, to take the next step. While he's unsure of what to do, he encounters a young woman also named Catherine at his favorite bar. The two end up spending the night together, but at the same time, Vincent begins having dreams where other men appear as sheep, and they must climb a massive tower.
Yeah, it's this part that I'm just like, nah,
Vincent
bro.
can't remember the dreams went away.
I can't with the
It's
puzzle.
conveyed that those who fall in the dream die for real. Vincent must confront his feelings, survive the tower, and learn what's really going on.
Some of the levels you need to Google, hell no. If there's like a very easy baby mode, I might consider playing this, but
Vincent's daytime activities. It's where the events play out until Vincent goes to his favorite bar at night, where he can talk to his friends, the other customers, and respond to any.
because I think this game would be hilarious to play on
These
stream.
choices lead him to one of several alignments, which are always displayed after a decision, and determine which ending the player will eventually receive. When he leaves the bar, Vincent will go to sleep and enter the nightmare, where the great trials await. There, he must climb a tower made of blocks, which Vincent can push and pull as long as he has the space to move. The blocks will fuse together at their corners.
It's pretty
enabling
easy,
stairs to be
actually.
created. It begins with basic blocks at first, but ice blocks, spike traps, catapults, and more are introduced as time goes on. There are also other sheep who will push you from the ledge as they've entered a state of panic. Fortunately, there are items that can be found which allow Vincent to create blocks, automatically kill all enemies on screen, or climb faster.
Just play it on easy mode. Most of the levels are fun, but some levels are completely puzzle based.
Talk with other sheep to learn more about them and trade block pushing techniques that can be used if you so choose. There's also a confessional where Vincent is asked a question about relationships, and the response further pushes his alignment one way or the other. The game's difficulty was considered quite high.
All right, do we got a Valentine's Day stream going? We're going to be playing Catherine.
To their surprise, the game was met with as much anticipation as a Persona game, and this was reflected in sales. The PlayStation 3 version topped Japanese sales.
Is this on PC?
And even managed to outsell Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which released on the same day, by a margin of 2-1.
Damn.
The game was Atlus's biggest launch to date and would eventually sell over 1 million units.
Damn.
Critics generally enjoyed the gameplay and story, though many noted that most of the characters were unlikable. Still, for a game made to help the developers come to grips with the new HD hardware before taking on Persona 5,
do you think cheating is okay?
Unexpected success. The second release of 2011 came about that July and marked the last time a non-Persona, non-mainline Shin Megami
Damn, why
Tensei
was her titties up?
non-remake
Okay.
entry was released in the series. There is one other that could be considered, but that's a crossover. It's up to you whether you'd count it or not, but for me, Devil Survivor 2 marked the occasion until the announcement of Soul Hackers 2. The story focuses on a new protagonist whose best friend introduces him to a new app called Nicaea. Supposedly, it's able to show images of their friend's death. This turns out to be true as they are warned of a train crash that would have crushed them and survived thanks to a demon summoning app that was suddenly installed on their phones.
Final
The
Destination?
train crash was only the beginning, as a series of disasters have struck Japan with demons and desperate survivors on the loose. The protagonist must use his new abilities to not only help the people, but fend off 7 mysterious beings known as the Septentrions. The structure of the story remains the same as the original. Every event passes time, so players must decide where and with whom they're going to spend it. This is made even more important with the introduction of the new Fate system. It works much like social links in Persona, as it allows players to spend time with different party members to learn more about them. As they rank up, new rewards are given, such as granting that character resistances to certain elements, unlocking new demons to fuse, and the ability to joint crack with the protagonist.
Okay.
Like the original, humans must gain new skills by defeating specific demons on the map with a declared character. With Joint Crack, either that declared character or the protagonist can earn that skill, making it much easier to add to the available skill list. Otherwise, most of the improvements are designed to flesh out the gameplay of the original. Higher level demons will now have enhanced racial skills, there are more physical skills that make
Enhanced racial skills.
Unused humans will still gain a portion of experience, the Demon Compendium is available so players can easily resummon demons, and add-ons can be obtained that further enhance demons during fusion. Critics generally enjoyed the gameplay enhancements, though some found Devil Survivor 2 notably harder. The cast was considered more likable, helped by the Fate system, though it was noted that the choices during these moments made it feel more like a dating sim. While not a massive improvement over the original, it refined what was established. And that brings us to the era of Persona 4 spin-offs, and it all began with 2012's Persona 4
He said
Arena,
era,
a
that's...
fighting game taking place 2 months after the events of the original game. The protagonist, now given the official name of Yu Narukami, returns to Inaba during Golden Week to reconnect with his friends. But soon after arriving, they begin hearing stories of the return of the Midnight Channel.
Bro, some of the girls in this
Investigating, they learn
game,
that
oh
half of
wow.
their friends have gone missing, and the TV world has been transformed into a fighting tournament called the P1 Grand Prix, where they must fight one another in order to proceed. Stranger still is that 2 of their friends are now acting as the host and commentator to the fights. Each character must now explore the TV world to find why the Midnight Channel has returned and rescue their friends.
I would enjoy,
games,
but
the story is split between the playable characters, with each providing another piece of the puzzle until it culminates with a final story. There are 13 playable characters.
Persona 4 had like 4 games, I think. So that means 5 will have 5 games.
Fans and 2 original. Developed by Arc System Works, the game is largely built on their Blaze Blue engine, though many of the elements have been streamlined. Combat utilizes 4 buttons: a light attack, a strong attack, a persona
Come
attack,
on,
and a
Persona 5
While
Racing.
special moves are naturally included, there's also an auto combo option to help appeal to beginners. Although 2 buttons are dedicated to personas, they're typically more passive in combat, only appearing for an action before disappearing again. But this is important because any hit while the persona is out will result in the loss of a persona card. If all the player's cards are lost during the fight, a persona break occurs, barring the use of persona abilities for a time. There's also defensive
Need a Persona Party game?
actions, which act as reversals.
Danganronpa did that shit. They did like a Mario Party thing.
Heal a portion of health, as long as the player isn't hit while the health bar is blue. All-out attacks have become all-out rushes in Arena, which can knock the opponent away or launch
Yeah, I
them
used to
into
play
the
this
air.
game all the time because I really love Blaze Blue.
Advanced maneuvers. Players also
Not knowing a single goddamn thing about what's going on. The white-haired guy was my favorite character.
And unique specials. Finally, there's bursting, which breaks an enemy combo,
Bursting.
refills the SP gauge, and unlocks even more specials. Critics loved the sprites, feeling they took the next step from other Arc System Works fighters at the time, and fighting system, with many finding them easy to pick up while still incorporating much of what makes Persona unique. Less favorable was the story mode, which was derided for its slow pace and lengthy dialogue. Existing fans would enjoy it, but newcomers would find themselves bored. That didn't stop it from being a sales success though, as it outsold all other fighting games at the time, guaranteeing both a sequel and more Persona 4 spin-offs. But before that, there was a more significant release.
You got the one collector edition. Oh, signed by the VA, okay.
May 2013 marked the launch of the next mainline entry, Shin Megami Tensei 4, 10 years after the release of
My friend
Nocturne.
would not shut up about this one specifically.
Immediately after Strange Journey finished, due to the demands of longtime fans. It was quickly decided it should be released on the 3DS for player convenience, though after such a long gap between games, there was conflict between the teams.
The ex-holding girl was probably my favorite of P4 Arena.
That Shin Megami Tensei was a bitter series, while the junior staff felt there should be some sweetness to it. In the end, both aspects were implemented in the areas that those developers were working on.
Oh, what is
The
that?
major goal amongst the entire team was recapturing the punk feeling of the original Shin Megami Tensei. To that end, Shin Megami Tensei 4's world is completely separate from previous games, taking place in the Eastern Kingdom of Mikado. The protagonist, named Flynn, is undergoing training to
SMT
become a
4
samurai,
fun.
warriors able to fight and control demons
Have a
while protecting
walkthrough
the
ready.
kingdom. After passing
Oh,
the
no.
test, Flynn and the other new recruits learn of someone calling themselves the Black Samurai, distributing cursed books to spread knowledge, causing some residents to turn into demons after reading them. The samurais put down the chaos and give chase, where they learn the truth of their world and must decide what to do next.
Okay.
Rather than the first-person perspective of Strange Journey, 4 returns to the third-person exploration of Nocturne. Like the recent Persona games, enemies can be seen walking around and preemptively struck for an advantage in battle. These battles still occur in first person, with alongside up to 3 demons and an AI-controlled human who provides support.
Okay.
The press turn system returns once more with the added wrinkle of the smirk status. When smirking, that character will do more damage, eliminate their elemental weaknesses, and increase their dodge chance. Demon
Okay.
Negotiation and Fusion have been slightly tweaked, as both now grant experience points for the player. It's also possible to choose which skills carry over after Fusion, and a first for the main series.
Lapras is
Once a demon has learned all of its
oh,
available skills,
Lapras
they can
is the
recopy
robot
full
girl.
skill set, though there are limitations such as no passive abilities. However, if he already knows a skill that will be passed over, it will automatically grow in power and lower in magic cost. Each level also grants Flynn app points, which can massively change the game to your playstyle. If you want to fuse demons and fill out the compendium, there are apps that reduce the price of resummoning registered demons. If
Okay.
you want to stick with the same demon team, there are apps that increase their stat gains when leveling up. There's even a recommended fusion feature, as the developers had noted that newcomers weren't actually using fusion. All these changes were made in an effort to combat the image the series had garnered as extremely challenging over the years. Despite that, the game was still considered difficult, especially in the early hours, with easy mode only unlocking after repeatedly dying. It is possible to pay the in-game money to avoid a game over, but it is massively expensive, making it a questionable option. Shin Megami Tensei 4 ended up selling well in Japan, becoming the 30th best-selling game of the year. The battle system was near universally
I mean, that doesn't
praised,
sound good.
despite the
30th.
difficult intro and various spikes. The allowances for newcomers were seen as a welcome change. Everything else about the game was a more mixed reception. Overworld navigation was considered difficult to follow, and the story was hit or miss, especially when it came to the characters. Most were considered forgettable, merely there to represent the moral alignments that would lead to the multiple endings. It's a shame too, as this was the first mainline Shin Megami Tensei game to feature full voice acting.
Oh.
Still, its return was seen as a success. The end of 2013 saw the release of Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, a sequel to the original that expanded and refined its gameplay. While Arena's
There are
story
so
was
many
mostly
of
wrapped
these
up,
games,
it
you
was decided
guys.
to leave it open enough that a sequel could bring it to a proper conclusion. With the success of Arena, Ultimax would quickly enter production.
Low key, I could legitimately just play all of these games for the rest of my life, and that's it.
Already back on the air, as it broadcast an announcement for the new P1 Climax tournament, followed by a visual of figures from Persona 3 being crucified. Only a few moments after, Inaba suffers a power outage as a red fog blankets the town. This causes elements of the TV world to seep into the real world, while parts of Inaba become replicas of locations from Persona 3. Whereas Arena's story was split between the playable characters,
Damn.
Ultimax streamlines things by featuring episodes. Episode P4 and P3 focuses on the characters from their respective games as they explore Inaba, try to rescue their friends, and learn more about their true enemy. There are 8 new characters in the game along with the original 13, bringing the total to 21. This includes Rize in her first playable role, 3 more characters from Persona 3, a brand new character, and 3 DLC characters. In terms of gameplay, there's a host of small changes and tweaks that improve the overall gameplay, but some of the bigger additions are the skill hold system, which is a special attack that changes properties the longer the weak attack button is held down. There's also the skill boost SP attacks that allows characters to perform an even more powerful SP skill at the cost of more SP meter. The Persona card system has also been tweaked so that each character has a different amount. If they have less, then they'll recover from Persona Break more quickly, and vice versa if they have more cards. Finally, there's the introduction of Shadow-type characters for most of the cast, which feature altered stats and access to a Shadow Frenzy mode rather than a burst. This grants the Shadows unlimited SP for a short amount of time, as well as more health.
I'm guessing you're going to be playing Reload. Yes, I'm glad you asked. Yes, I am. Friday, expect a live stream. If there's no live stream, expect a video of some sort of the first part of Reload.
Every character was of particular note, with the game still looking impressive. It was considered a high watermark in Arc System Works' fighting game design at the time, and while its first week of sales didn't surpass the original, its eventual sales numbers did. Although, as I mentioned, Ultimax was designed to
Are you doing the DLC also? Yeah, I'm covering everything. I'm locked in, baby. Like, this is... I'm addicted now. You guys, you fucked me up. I got addicted to this shit. Like, I just really fuck with Persona 5 a lot, but now I'm interested in looking at everything.
The team worked together with the Etrian Odyssey team to combine the gameplay elements of both series.
Oh, this one.
To better fit the limitations of the 3DS, the
supposedly the most underrated game ever.
With the aim to create a title for fans of the Persona series, which led to the crossover between Persona.
Welcome to hell. Oh no.
The story, considered canon by the developers, can be started with the cast from either game, but they'll meet up eventually. The Persona 3 characters begin by making preparations to explore Tartarus. While its protagonist is visiting the Velvet Room, something odd happens and the rest of the party is transported within it. Not long after, the Velvet Room begins to fall as it's housed within an elevator. Still confused about what's going on, the party opens the Velvet Room to find themselves in Yasogami High from Persona 4 during a cultural festival.
DLC monsters tend to be overpowered, and I want to go in raw low.
The Persona 4 cast begin at their own cultural festival where their Velvet Room attendant invites them into a fortune-telling booth. But upon leaving, they find the school has changed and a clock tower that's been gone for years has suddenly reappeared. Like the other cast, the only way forward is through UN Wonderland.
So I'm going to have to figure out how to play this specifically because there's a feature apparently in these games
While the stories are
that involves you tracing out a map or some shit. I don't know.
Story events. The gameplay is a combination of the exploration of Etrian Odyssey and the battle mechanics of Persona.
Persona 2 is fun, but the dungeon design in the in-game is actually nightmarish.
This does not include the navigators from each game who offer their own unique support skills. The game is split between the high school and the labyrinths. The school acts as a base of sorts where players can heal their party, sell materials for money and to unlock new equipment, and perform Persona fusions. True to their name, the labyrinths are large mazes where players navigate in first person and must find a set of stairs in order to move on to the next floor. However, fully exploring a floor will cause a treasure chest to appear, making it possibly worthwhile to stick around. Players can also create their own maps.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Mapping mode, the game encourages doing this manually, as the bottom screen's touchpad can be used to draw in walls and add icons to represent landmarks that make each revisit easier. The labyrinth not only features random encounters with shadows, but stronger enemies on the map known as foes. These are more powerful encounters that move when the player does, so careful movement is required to avoid their.
I gotta see how the emulator works with that. I might do a test one of the. Well,
these allow extra personas, which are received randomly after a battle, to be assigned to the party, granting more health, magic, and a set of new abilities. This allows players to use the characters they like without having to worry about team balance in terms of elemental affinity. There's
Oh no,
also a
not team
boost meter,
balance.
which is built up by
Yeah, the
striking
DLC
weaknesses
persona
or
you
landing a
get
critical
tends
hit.
to
While
make it
boosted
easy
skills
for
cost
you
no
solo to
health
buy
or
it.
magic for individual party members, while
I
multiple
mean, I
boosted
might
characters
buy
can
it,
perform
but I'm not
an
going to
attack.
use any of it till
Unlike past
later
games,
because I was
enemies
told not to
cannot
do that
use
for
the
Persona
system,
5 Royal.
but players
So
must maintain the status by continually hitting weaknesses or criticals. The game was well received by critics, many of them enjoying the satisfaction of creating their own maps while taking in the excellent presentation, especially the music. While many felt the interactions between returning characters were fun, the new characters took a while to reveal their point and came across as flat until that moment. It was met with strong sales as well, topping the charts the week of its release in Japan, while seeing modest success in the West despite heavy competition. There's still one more Persona 4 spin-off to cover, and it's a personal favorite of mine. Persona 4 Dancing All Night released a year later in June of 2015 for the PlayStation Vita. After years of praise for its music, it made a certain amount of sense to make a rhythm game. What was unexpected was how it continued the story of Persona 4, at least somewhat, as it features the characters coming together to help Rise, the former pop idol, to break back into the industry. In order to give her encouragement, the rest of the cast will be backup dancers at an upcoming music festival, but soon learn of other idols going missing. Upon investigating, they discover a new world known as the Midnight Stage, which has brainwashed the idols. Unable to fight directly,
sorry about
the
that.
group must save them by expressing their
how did I
feelings
like
through
Royal?
song.
So far I'm only like
This means Dancing All Night is a rhythm game and doesn't stray too much from the established
I
formula of
finished
the
the
genre.
Madarame,
The chosen
or
character will dance in the center
no,
of
I
the screen while
finished
flanked by
the
button
Makoto
inputs
part.
corresponding to that
We're
side
on
of the
there.
controller. Up,
I
left,
had to
and down for
pause the
left
game
side,
because
and triangle, circle, and cross
a whole bunch of
buttons
other
for
stuff
right.
came out at the time.
Notes appear in those
But I
spaces,
like it
which
so
must be
far.
hit in time with the music, with more complex combinations coming over time, including simultaneous notes, holding notes, and the scratch rings. These
The
circles
VODs are going to be
cover all
uploaded
inputs
onto my
and
second
require the player
channel.
to flip the analog stick at the right time.
Lumen is
This
alive.
doesn't break the score multiplier, but hitting enough scratch rings is required to enter fever mode, an opportunity to earn even more points as a second character joins for a short time. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Clearing songs unlocks more, along with money that can be used to buy new costumes and accessories for the 11 base game characters. There are 27 songs in total from across all of Persona 4 media, with many being new remixes. DLC was a big part
Yeah,
of
in the
game
Q games you
post-launch
have
as
to
well,
like draw
which
out your
added
own
13
map.
more
Yeah.
songs, 3 more characters, and a host of new costumes and accessories. Most critics responded well to the game, enjoying the song selection, remixes, and style. The story was less well received as those sequences tended to drag and could take up a lot of time before the next song. Some felt there were better rhythm game options out there, but the game sold well enough that a sequel was greenlit immediately. 2015 had one more game in store, a crossover between
Okay,
Shin
this
Megami
one I was
Tensei
the
and
most
Fire Emblem
interested
that
in
few saw coming.
because it was
Tokyo Mirage Sessions
Fire
sharp
Emblem
edge.
and
While
Shin
there was
Megami
debate over
Tensei.
what style the game would ultimately emulate, it was decided that Atlus would handle development and were encouraged to create something original to the RPG genre. This eventually led to the decision to set the game in the modern-day entertainment industry and eschew many traditions of Shin Megami Tensei. The protagonist wouldn't be silent. There was a
All right, so when we get to eventually when we get to this game, because I'm going to play this one as well. What Fire Emblem game should I play as like a? If any of you guys know, if any of you guys fuck with Fire Emblem, which Fire Emblem game should I take a look at before getting into this? Because I feel like I could just raw dog it and just like say, fuck it, I don't know any of these characters or whatever, or anything about Fire Emblem. Or I can do a little bit of Fire Emblem just to test the waters.
Side stories were just as important as the main plot. Said story focuses on Itsuki Aoi, a young man who encounters his schoolmate Tsubasa during a
Three
talent
Houses?
event where she hopes to begin her career as a pop idol. Instead, something strange has come over the MC of the event who causes everyone there except Itsuki
But it's
and Tsubasa
long.
to become listless. He then throws Tsubasa into another world called the Idolosphere. Itsuki gives chase and eventually awakens his Performa, allowing him to form a bond with
I'm sorry,
Rom,
Performa,
while
not
Tsubasa
Persona,
does the same with
Performa.
Shida. From
Yo,
there,
it's
there are
Rasengan.
Fortuna Entertainment, which both manages talent from multiple entertainment industries and combats the beings known
Fire
as
Emblem
Mirages.
Three Houses,
Now,
it
they
has
must
the
simultaneously
most
begin their
compelling
careers in
story
entertainment
in the
while trying to
universe.
stop
Okay.
Mirage's plans. The game is split into chapters, with each chapter continuing the main story and introducing a new Idolosphere location. but in between are intermissions, which allows the player to spend as much time as they want doing side quests and learning more about the rest of the party through their side stories. Exploration within the Idolosphere remains typical to Shin Megami Tensei at this point, with Itsuki able to run around solving puzzles and choosing to either dodge enemies or strike them for an advantage in battle. Those battles involve a party of 3, with much of the focus on a new variation of the press turn system, session attacks. By attacking an enemy's weakness, it's possible for another party member to perform a follow-up attack, as long as they have a skill linked to the one used. This in turn may trigger another party member to follow up as well, creating a chain of attacks for massive damage. Of course, session attacks can be performed by the enemy.
So it plays like it plays like Shin Megami Tensei.
Also increase a character's stage rank, and with each level, more of their side story can be seen. Attacking also naturally builds up a special meter, which can be expended to use performance attacks. More of these are unlocked by completing the character's side stories, rewarding players for learning more about them. This also leads to dual attacks, where characters team up for even more damage. Aspects of Fire Emblem come into play through enemy weaknesses, which, along with elements, now includes swords, axes, lances, and bows. It's also possible to visit Tiki to power up the party through either Carnage Unity or Radiant Unity.
God Hatsune Miku's in this game. You said say nothing less. Say nothing less. Say less.
These not only increase their strength,
I should say less. I don't know how to speak.
that the character can eventually learn. Command skills are the different attacks, passive skills offer stat boosts, and session skills are what tie attacks together for session attacks. However, each character can only hold 6 skills of each type, though they can be powered up further if the skill is learned multiple times. Radiant Unity is unlocked either through story progression, clearing a character's side story, or increasing their stage rank. These permanent skills grant more health or extended session attacks. Although critics were split on the story, some found it too predictable and slow, while others enjoyed the over-the-top aspects and cheesiness, many felt there wasn't enough Fire Emblem representation to balance the crossover, though the battle system was almost universally praised.
Oh no.
It's generally considered one of the best games on the Wii U, but releasing on that system did lead to only modest sales. Only a few months later,
this game made hardcore Shin Megami Tensei fans angry.
Apocalypse was released on the 3DS. Rather than an enhanced re-release, the developers decided they wanted to see what they could do with the characters.
I don't know, it looks fun. It looks colorful and bright.
The story focuses on Nanashi, a demon hunter who was killed by demons. In the afterlife, a demon named Dagda offers to resurrect him in exchange for becoming a god slayer.
Ooh.
And that is meant literally, as Dagda desires Nanashi to kill every demon and god so he can remake the world.
Okay.
Nanashi's decisions from this point will sway the lives of those around him and the characters from the original story. The gameplay has mostly stayed the same, though there are a host of minor updates to the systems of the original. Among these changes is an update to negotiations, where meeting the same demon again after failing to recruit it will pick up where you left off, rather than having to restart the conversation entirely.
Alright, that sounds fun.
Where they will do more or less damage with an ability, depending on their preferences. The Demon Compendium also marks whether a demon has been registered or not, and the overworld map was made easier to read.
Dadga, my daddy.
Critics appreciated these changes and refinements, especially the graphical improvements, though they also realized that not much was new beyond the story. Sales-wise, the game sold nearly 100,000 copies in its first week in Japan, half of what the original managed.
So I'm not. So this is Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. Is it like a sequel to Shin Megami Tensei 4?
Seem paltry in comparison to the juggernaut that was about to come.
Yeah, this is what got me into Persona.
After an extended development cycle and multiple delays, Persona 5 would release on PlayStation 3 and 4 in September of 2016. These delays were due to the team attempting to nail down what story they wanted to tell and how the series would evolve. Ultimately, the developers decided on the theme of freedom and social change, which had been on the rise in Japan after the lackluster government response to the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami.
Okay.
They also felt that this would make the game more approachable to newcomers. The story takes place in 2016 and focuses on a new protagonist who's been sent to live in Tokyo with a family friend after being framed for assault. No one believes in his innocence, causing him to immediately be put on the outskirts.
Yo, the backstory is insane.
Problematic nature. But as he begins settling into this new life, a mysterious app appears on his phone and eventually triggered by accident, sending him and another boy into an alternate world. They soon learn that this place is known as the Metaverse, where the collective unconscious takes shape. Within this space, people with strong distorted desires can
I
form a
seen like
palace. However, these corrupt people
I
didn't
take I took it with a grain of salt, but I saw a video about or a thumbnail for a video saying that there was like leaked images of leaked information about Persona 5 beta.
This in turn brings them fame.
Is it something interesting to take a look at? I'll probably take a look at it like some other time, but
to change all of Japan. The scope of the story is certainly impressive, but the gameplay changes have been refined to both improve upon what came before.
It was going to have a grown-up Nanako.
Are essentially gentlemen thieves.
How far does Persona 5 take place after 4?
As it takes place in Tokyo, the protagonist, who's given the codename Joker, has far more.
I mean, technically, Ryuji got abused by Kamoshida off screen, so.
Video games, movies, baseball,
and there was a lot of sexual abuse already in Persona 5.
Metaverse, and even going to the bathhouse are all options, and all make time pass. Each one provides a benefit, whether it's increasing the returning social stats, preparing for the metaverse, or increasing his physical stats. Like
it takes place like 5 years after.
Social links return,
there was a model of a 12-year-old Nanako,
and do more than increase the bonus experience points when fusing personas of that arcana. These can range from unlocking extra
so about 5 years,
to improving guns and gun abilities, and even swapping teammates during battle. And those are only examples of non-party member benefits. Your allies can gradually learn the new baton pass, a follow-up attack, how to help during negotiations, how to recover teammates from status ailments, and more. All these elements come together for a greatly expanded battle system. One of the biggest changes from recent Personas was that shadows no longer appeared as original enemies, but as demons from other games. In turn, negotiation was required to obtain new personas rather than shuffle time, though extra items or money could be earned from this as well.
I want to say this right here might be controversial. I despise the negotiation system, mainly because I don't think the localization did a good job of like conveying.
However, there was some lenience,
like
if players lost against
how they want the personality to be,
where you can save in the middle of dungeons. But if players die during a boss
but I guess it specifies if a character is gloomy or like happy or whatever. But still, the options that they have you to select, I don't know if this is the correct response to the answer that they're giving.
A button press away, cutting back on menu navigation significantly. Combat-wise, options have been expanded compared to Persona 3 and 4.
Persona 5 was also going to be Final Fantasy 15 before 15.
Type of gun, in addition to a melee weapon with weaknesses reflecting this.
No, you got the Morgue bus, you got the Morgana bus.
Again, as party members who have earned the baton pass ability can use it in those situations. When an enemy is knocked down, the option will appear. This allows them to pass their turn to another party member who might possess a different enemy's weakness.
But baton pass is godly. I hope baton pass is in 3 Reload.
Pass streak, the greater the attack bonus and healing the next party member will receive. Once all enemies are knocked down, the party will hold up the enemies. This is how negotiation is initiated, or players can unleash an all-out attack for massive damage. Dungeon exploration has seen some changes as well, with the biggest being the palaces themselves. They are not randomly
They also might have a
generated and
cautionary
instead follow
as there
a
are
set
parts
design,
that may have been
allowing for
slandered
specific
towards
set
certain
pieces to
parties.
further expand the story.
If it took place in 2016, I didn't know it took place in 20XX. I just assumed it was like around the time frame was around the date when it came out.
Fulfill side quests and hunt for more personas. It's all the more necessary as a palace cannot be revisited once it's been completed. While in a palace, stealth is greatly emphasized, with the party able to quickly travel between hiding spots. And
yeah, I didn't look at the battle strategy trailer because I feel like that would be a little bit too spoilery. I want to be surprised about some of the gameplay mechanics.
These changes and updates led to Persona 5 being met with near universal acclaim, with many critics praising not only the gameplay but the sheer style, both graphically and musically. It has become widely considered one of the best modern JRPGs to date. It's not without criticism though, as the translation was seen as mediocre, and scenes featuring 2 gay men played into unfortunate stereotypes. Still, word of mouth of its quality spread, and sales reflected this, with the game becoming the best-selling in the game's history.
I like how that was controversial, but like not the teacher dating, potentially dating a student was, or you dating grown ass. Well, I guess age of consent in Japan is different.
Better than Persona 4, with it eventually reaching 5 million copies sold worldwide, including its enhanced re-release Persona 5 Royal. It was almost a year before the next original title was released, taking the form of something quite different. Shin Megami Tensei Synchronicity Prologue was considered a hoax when it was first shown as part of a trailer for the upcoming Strange Journey remake. But 3 days later, on October 16, 2017, it was made available to download for free on Atlas Japan's website. The game takes place before the events of Strange Journey and focuses on a Jack Frost whose mind has been synchronized with a human's in order to fight demon hordes. It's not long before he's joined by a friendly jack-o'-lantern, and the two team up to help a creature calling itself J-Kun. Their journey leads them to Black Frost, who holds a portion of J-Kun's human mind and must be defeated to save him. But this prologue is no RPG. It's a Metroidvania developed by Team Ladybug, who would go on to create Touhou Luna Nights and Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth. Jack Frost and Jack-o'-lantern use their innate abilities to explore and find upgrades to prepare for greater
did he freeze the water by...
Jack Frost is able to freeze enemies in water, while Jack-o'-lantern can melt ice. The game also includes elemental weaknesses and affinities for every character, and many of the upgrades allow the pair to obtain skills that strike at weaknesses other than ice or fire. Their immunities tie into boss battles where quick switching is necessary to dodge attacks of the opposing element, giving the encounters the slight feeling of a bullet hell
you're
shooter.
fighting like other demons.
Characters level up and can shop for recovery items, while teleporters allow them to quickly travel around the map. The game was well regarded, but sadly was only available for 2 months, as Atlas removed it on December 24th, 2017.
Am I still able to get that?
24th, 2018, as Persona fans were treated to both Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight and Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight. Like Dancing All Night, these served as rhythm games based around the music of their respective games and filled with new remixes. The stories are much less involved than their predecessors though. The Velvet Room attendants in each game have heard of the success of Persona 4's group and decide to throw a dancing competition to see who has the better team.
That's the story?
The groups
okay.
never actually meet, and instead the focus
The
is on social
Metroid is on Internet Archive. I think it has a fan translation. Cool.
Costumes and accessories. Beyond the lack of a real story, the gameplay is essentially the same as Dancing All Night. The biggest addition was more aesthetic in nature, as the team decided to use professional dance models for the choreography. This wasn't done for the Persona 4 cast, as they were supposed to be newcomers to dancing with their movements kept stiff. But with the story mattering little in the sequels, each character was modeled after
a dance-off.
dancer. There are 25 tracks in Persona 3, while Persona 5 features 26. Over 30 more songs that could be shared between the two versions were released as DLC, along with 8 more playable characters. This led to one of the major criticisms of the games, as many found the song list to be too limited, especially when a single song was used multiple times.
Yo, this looks complicated. Maybe I don't want to play this anymore.
Critics were split on the change to the story. Some thought it worked, while others felt they lacked substance. The games were modest successes in Japan, though many suspect it was not helped by them being sold at full price, despite similar content between them. That said, Persona 5's version sold better overall. Naturally, if Persona 5 received one follow-up to a previous spin-off, there was no reason it couldn't have another, and that's just
I
what
thought the
happened,
intro
as
to this
Persona
one was
Q2
fire.
New Cinema Labyrinth released in November of 2018, bringing together the cast of Persona 3, 4, and 5, along with the female protagonist from Persona 3 Portable. In an effort to keep the story focused, the ability to choose which group to start with was removed. Instead, the story begins with the Persona 5 cast exploring more of Mementos. As they do, they are suddenly pulled into a random movie screen, which takes them to an unknown
It was a high
city,
difficulty. I was sweating for a second.
Ambushed and forced to flee through another movie screen, finding themselves in an abandoned movie theater with no exit. Now they must explore the worlds of the movies in order to set them right and open the way back home, all the while meeting the other Persona casts along the way. Many of the changes made to Persona Q2 involve making the game more accessible to new players.
The blick to the head.
And the horror elements of the first game were toned down, while the labyrinths were made easier to navigate. It's also possible to form a party without using any of the 3 protagonists, and this customization was carried over to Personas as well. Sub-Personas return and work the same as before, but the main Persona now has 6 skill slots that are filled by the abilities they inherently learn. These skills are also no longer
can't wait to pay for
upgraded into more
FMC for
expensive
$70
versions,
in a few
allowing players
years
to choose
for Persona 3
precisely which ones
Reload
are in their
B.
loadout. All-out attacks were made easier.
Is that what they plan on doing, or is that speculation? Because if that's what they plan on doing,
knocked down, making it possible for multiple characters to trigger the all-out attack in a single turn. The game was well regarded by critics, with many feeling that although it may not convince newcomers to check out Etrian Odyssey type gameplay, it was a worthy send-off for the 3DS. After all, this was the last major release for the system in North America. Persona 5 would eventually have one spin-off entirely unique to itself, and a first for the Shin Megami Tensei series, a warrior-style game released on February 20th, 2020 under the name Persona 5 Strikers. The game was marketed as a
sounds about
Persona
right
5 and mostly fulfills that promise, picking up 4 months after the end of the original. Joker,
but like when Atlas milks it, like they milk it in a way that's good, like they make a whole new game like this, Strikers, but not just like a B-side to a game.
Supplies for the trip, they are given a passcode for Emma that somehow transports them to an alternate world similar to the metaverse, where they have access to the personas.
Prominent Persona leaker suddenly asked about expanding games with DLC for using,
and the police have named them the top suspects. Now they must go on a journey across Japan to discover the real culprit behind this new scheme. Rather than focus on massive battles like most Warriors games,
road trip.
Strikers adapts many of its gameplay elements from Persona 5 while giving the player more freedom to explore. Time no longer passes when doing activities, and it's possible to enter and exit the other world at any time, allowing the characters to fully heal or go shopping for more supplies. There are also side quests to discover.
I don't know if
where Joker can cook up food.
If the same amount of people fuck with SMT as they did with Persona, I would much rather they just cycle between Personas and mainline SMTs like SMT 6, Persona 6, SMT 7, Persona 7, and switch it out that way.
But they're generally spread out as the gameplay does emphasize stealth. In battle, the party is made up of 4 characters, though Joker is always required. The playable character can be swapped at any time, while the entire party can be interchanged outside of battle. The combat itself features the usual Warriors extended combos and finishers, though the characters can summon their personas at any time, which will pause the action and allow a moment for planning. Naturally, as the personas level up, more skills become available. There's also a special meter known as Showtime,
this looks
where a
fun.
character can unleash a powerful special attack. Unlike Persona 5, negotiation isn't required to obtain new personas for Joker.
P5 Strikers being a road trip type story was definitely reuse of the precursor story for 5.
Confidants, Strikers introduces the bond system, which powers up the team as a whole by spending bond points.
Yeah,
These are earned through a meter that's gradually filled by defeating enemies, reaching certain points in the story, socializing with the rest of the team, and completing side quests. Once the meter is filled, a set amount of points is granted to spend or save. The bond enhancements range from increasing stats for the party to raising damage from certain types of attacks to an increased drop rate with 30 different options in total.
I guess like at a certain point you become attached to these characters and you want to see them more often.
It was the character interactions.
So I guess that's why people fuck with these.
Praised for how well it melded the mechanics of Persona and Warriors, and its success continued as it hit 1.5 million units sold worldwide only 4 months after its Western release. And that brings us to the latest title as of this video, Shin Megami Tensei 5. For the first time, the game was released simultaneously around the world.
The drip is absurd here. You thought the uniforms in Persona 5 were like overly designed.
3 and 4, 5 does not pick up from previous games. And
I would go to this school. What school is this? I need to go to it.
A school student who is caught up in a mysterious earthquake along with 2 friends. In its aftermath, they discover they've been transported to an alternative apocalyptic version of Tokyo that's engulfed in a war between angels and demons. The protagonist is saved from certain death by a being known as Aogami, and the 2 fuse into a forbidden entity known as the Nahubino. Together, they must work with the remaining humans.
Okay, you just fuse just because?
And bring an end to the conflict. In order to evolve the gameplay even further within Shin Megami Tensei 5, a number of changes have been introduced. One of the biggest is to step away from traditional dungeons, with players exploring the verticality of the open world much more often.
I mean, this looks good.
By the addition of a jump button. There are dungeons, but they only appear at certain times. Demon negotiation and fusion remain essentially the same, though players can obtain an item called a grimoire to boost a demon's stats if they discover a favorite. The biggest change is the essence system.
I mean, the protagonist looks like they can be any gender they want to be.
or change the Nahubino's skills and attributes.
I evolved and I
This
became
includes their weaknesses
beautiful.
and resistances, which can help better prepare for difficult encounters. And the game continues to be challenging, as even the casual difficulty left some forced to grind and fuse to better survive.
Damn.
Thankfully, there is a safety mode for those looking to check out the game with little resistance. One way the game communicates the difficulty of a given area is through the new obsesses. These obstacles obscure an area of the map and must be destroyed. In doing so, a set of enemies will appear which denote the relative power of the area enveloped by that abscess. Defeating them will clear the map and unlock new miracles to purchase. These are equivalent to the apps that granted various benefits in Shin Megami Tensei
I mean,
4.
I would
As further
take it. I'd rather be
incentives to explore
gorgeous
the
than
other world,
ugly.
there are collectibles to find in the form of Mimen, which award glory, the currency used to purchase miracles, and demon statues, which grant bonus experience to demons. Critics praise the changes made to Shin Megami Tensei 5, especially the bigger areas, which allowed for more entertaining exploration while simultaneously giving the demons enough room to wander around and display their full terrifying glory. The battle system was lauded as well, with each action feeling like it had weight behind it. Many were split on the story of the game, with some enjoying the way lore was doled out in environmental storytelling, while others lamented the pace of new, interesting information. Most agreed that the characters were bland, once again acting more as examples of the various alignments.
See, that's the one thing that I'm like kind of mad at.
Over 1 million copies so far. That only leaves Soul Hackers 2, which is
Oh
due for
no.
release worldwide on August 25th, 2022. How the game turns out is up in the air, but personally, despite no knowledge of the original Soul Hackers, the trailers pulled me in and inspired
This
me to
game
start this retrospective.
looks
There's a lot to this franchise, and learning it all has changed my perspective on it considerably. What it means to be a Shin Megami Tensei game is complicated. While the common elements can easily be identified, an all-encompassing title is trickier, as there's nothing equivalent to that in Japanese. Each sub-series is only
Soul
one
Hackers
part of the
2, and
franchise
ladies and
in small
gentlemen.
ways, and in some ways
Soul
requires
Hackers
knowledge
2,
of
the
its
best
history.
Vita game Atlas has ever made. Yeah, Vita game is available now on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S and X. Oh God, we did two fucking hours of Atlas games. So, what do you guys think? After watching all of these, I think I have like an idea of how I want to plan out content for the rest of the year. Also, keep in mind we're also going to be covering Final Fantasy as well when that comes out. Final Fantasy Rebirth when that comes out, and also we have Metaphor. So we have old shit, new shit, current shit, old shit. I sound like Doctor Who now. But what you guys could do for me, if you guys feel like it, if you want more Persona specifically, you can watch it right now on my other channel, Lumen is Alive, where essentially just the full VODs. The full VODs go up there, just like this one. This one's going to go up over there. It's also going to be available here as well, but where's this? Yeah, check it out. Lumen is Alive. I'm going to put it in the chat. Boom, there we go. It has all the VODs over there. If you want to watch an unabridged version of me playing Persona 4 with my friend, check it out over there. We got Shenmue, Final Fantasy, all of Danganronpa, Master Detective Archives. We're doing good things. We're doing big things. Discovering Atlas games is like reading the Necronomicon, a gate maddening knowledge. It's an RPG series that I never knew anything about, and it's all interesting and fun. Can't wait to dive into it. Yeah, I'm excited. We are winding down. Tomorrow we're going to be doing Nocturne, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Don't worry if you can't show up to the stream. It'll be saved here so you guys can watch it later. But yeah, I will enjoy these games. I will die playing all these games. But yeah, until next time, see y'all. Well, next time, see y'all when I see you. Hit the subscribe button. Do it. Do it now. Do it now.